So, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Demetra Kaye Show, where we talk about all things that go on in the Black community, Black love, knowledge, and just basic understanding of everything that pertains to us to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even. And as you guys can see, I am Demetra Kaye, and I'm sitting here with the recovering Democrat, otherwise known as Donovan Sadiq. He is my ride or die here every Sunday with his crazy self. Uh, also, like to say big giant thank you to Marcus Guyton for what he does behind the scenes on Facebook. He is on hiatus because he is going through some things within his family, and we wish him well until he gets ready to come back. I also like to say a big giant hello and thank you to YouTube and Facebook for being the other side of the conversation. You all are not just viewers, but you are participants, because this is probably one of the only shows that reads each and every comment, because we feel like you should be heard too, instead of just sitting there and listening to me and Donovan. Also, if you all want to become a member of the channel, you can subscribe. Please do that and become a member by signing up somehow. And then we also have a super chat, and we have a Cash App and a PayPal and a Venmo if you want to donate to this channel, because it does cost something. And every little bit helps in supporting new Black media, where you're going to get stories that you're not going to get on Fox, CNN, and whatever else is out there. I don't even watch TV like that. So whatever news channels are there. And so who's on here? Nicole, he said that title is hilarious. One who cares, how you doing? Says shalom and greetings, Demetra, Donovan in chat. And Tawana, how you doing? Olivia, we need you here today, sister, because Donovan is going to cut up. So anyway, before we get started, as you guys can see, our title is You Can't Wear a Wig in Prison. And I have a reason for using that title. So Donovan, what say you before we get started?
It is 3 o'clock here in California, so that means it is Demetra Kaye time. So that's where I'm going to spend my time. By the way, the Dallas Cowboys won today, so they are 10-4, 10-5, something like that. But they're doing fairly well. But don't get your hopes up too high. I really had to come in on this show because it is right up my alley. Because I've been talking about this stuff for what, almost going on 8 years. Something like that. It's been a while, but again, I think this is going to be a very lucrative talk. And ladies, I'm going to be writing down all of your talking points if this is going where I think it's going to go. But again, thank you guys for coming in and tuning in with us. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. And let's get into the conversation.
So if I can ask y'all before we go ahead and get started to share, like, and again, subscribe. We are going to be here for about 2 hours or so having a conversation about everything, because a lot has transpired since we were on here last together. So anyway, my title is You Can't Wear a Wig in Prison. So watch this and you will see why I said that. So here we go. Get your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen.
I think this one is deep wave. That one? Yeah. What is this? This one is deep. Oh my god, this is so long. I like that one. This is baby issues. Next to the one. Next to the one. Now we should get that one. Yeah, that one, that real, that purple one. Did I see that black one? Just black one? This is all black one? This one, I really got purple. That's not good. That's one. This one look long on me. This is all black. This one look long on me now. I know, right? Is this right? Yeah, this is cute. Put on this next. I'm from the baddest one. I'm from this one. That's very cute. I mean, this one for photo shoot. Yeah, huh? I mean, it's very good. She said 30. I'm 30.
Holy crap. They had babies in their hands and a baby in the stomach. Golly.
All right, so check it out. I want to show you guys another angle, so just bear with me really quick. And Marcus, I see that you are on here. I appreciate you. I will get with you after the show. I thought you were still, I know you're still going through your thing, but I appreciate you for coming through. All right. So this here is a different angle so you can actually see what happened. So check this out. It's not that long. So, and I want to show it to you again because I know it was quick. She actually pepper sprays the young lady behind the counter to cause a distraction. So here it goes. Okay. So
Queens, huh? Queens, huh?
So that situation there took place in Florida. It was like December 12th. It was a Sunday. That is a Black-owned beauty supply, if you will. Those three young ladies, and again, I say the words ladies loosely. I'm trying to be nice. They ventured into the store as, I forget the name of the salon at this point. But they went into the store. Obviously, they weren't going to pay for the wigs, but they were pretending that they were by trying on the wigs and, it was this deep wave and all this other stuff. And the young lady's sister behind the counter, she was pretty attentive, giving them what they wanted and all of that. And then, they ran out of the store and they pepper sprayed the young lady to cause a diversion, I guess, so they can get away. And as Donovan pointed out, one had a baby on her hip and another one was pregnant. Now, from what I understand, it sounds like those ladies, if you will, are sisters, like related sisters. And so I don't have the identity of the people, but the owner of the salon, she says, obviously my daughter is very traumatized, for trying to help these young ladies, and they pepper sprayed her, stole, multiple wigs. So then the young ladies, for whatever reason, decided to message the business and basically told them that they was going to kick their butts, and I'm being nice, and your daughter's bad built, and y'all better back off, or we do A, B, C, and D. And so the mom was like, wait a minute, I feel like now I need to put, the mom being the owner, I need to put these out, the video out, because they're lying and saying that my daughter was rude to them and this, that, and the other. Well, she wasn't, as you guys can see. She wasn't rude to them. She was very nice and helping them out and all of that. And I want to say the N word so bad, but I'm not going to. But that was really them just being, I'll say nigglets. How about that?
Ninja. Just say ninja. That'll be
yeah. They, and taking something that did not belong to them and then want to terrorize the owner and her daughter for not letting them get away with it. And even in one of the texts, whoever was sending the text message was like, well, you should have gave her the wig and, all this other stuff. So they said they do know their identities. And from what I learned, it sounds like they have been arrested. I don't have any confirmation on that. But it sounds like they have been apprehended. And so the reason why I said you can't wear a wig in prison, because did you think you was going to get away with that? There's cameras everywhere. There's cameras. And it sounds like from one of the other photos that I saw, when the one of them walked in the store, they kind of looked. So it's like they knew that they were being watched. But did you think you were going to get away with that? And the other thing, you got a baby on your hip. So if you get apprehended, is the baby going to CPS? Like, did you jeopardize the livelihood of your child for a wig? Like, when I think of this, y'all, I am blown away. I am blown away. That is so weird. Well,
how long is the wig gonna last? Exact. Go ahead.
Does it have magical powers? Like, you got a baby. You weren't stealing diapers.
Symbol act. You weren't stealing something that that's exorbitantly expensive that you need for your child. Let's say if your child has a defect or something that they need medicine-wise.
A wig. You're going to prison. I don't know if they're going to prison, but you're going to jail, I would think, for stealing wigs. And not only that, you've upped the charges because you've caused bodily harm to somebody in the commission of a robbery. That is now a strong armed robbery. No, you didn't use a gun, but you used a weapon to strong arm something that didn't belong to you for a mother freaking wig. Y'all thought I was gonna say something else.
Not including terroristic threats after the fact.
All of that. So it's like what world do these people live in to where you can strong arm somebody for wigs, and then you're gonna give them terroristic threats if they continue to talk about what they did? Like what planet are we on, ladies and gentlemen?
And let me add this real quick, because like I said, I'm just I'm not shocked, but I'm kind of shocked. That was a Black-owned beauty store, correct?
Black-owned beauty store.
Says it all.
And I've covered this story. It's not out yet on the African Diaspora News Channel, but it's a Black-owned beauty supply, which we as Black people, we need some Black-owned beauty supplies. If I had some in my neighborhood, I would go up in there. That's why I got to go to the Asians. But you got one in there, and you go in there with the foolishness. You go in there, and I mean, what if that young lady would have been allergic to pepper spray? You killed her over you guys just don't understand how mad that makes me, that you would jeopardize somebody's life for a wig. I don't even know where, like, y'all, we need to have a conversation here, because I know, listen, a lot of times, and I'm gonna tread lightly as I can. No, I'm not. I ain't gonna tread lightly. Forget it. I'm not gonna tread lightly, okay? Because Shahrazad Ali said this, and I agree with her. She's kind of gotten out of touch lately, behind trying to fire on the minister. But she did say that the Black woman back then, it's hard to examine her. It's hard to say anything about the Black woman because people get mad. And she said that during that time, that the Black woman really has not been examined and been held accountable for a lot of things. And listen, those girls seem fairly young. So they have, I would think, a mother influence or somebody somewhere. Like there's 3 sisters, and not one of them said, I'm not doing that. We shouldn't do that. Like you were able to take all 3 of you and your babies, because one in the stomach to a salon and do that. What if the baby would have got harmed? What if you would have dropped the baby, or the baby would have got pepper sprayed, or what if they had an armed security guard in there and they would have shot you? Like all these what ifs, right? And so a lot of times it's hard to say anything to us as Black women because we do get upset. But we need to start having a conversation. And y'all know on this show, I'm even killed. I talk about men and I talk about women, because I think Black women and Black men, we all need to be examined. But today I want to talk about how are we going to fix the first teacher, the mother of civilization. How are we going to stop the hemorrhaging of foolishness when it comes to our women? That's the conversation I want to have today. Now, we'll venture off into other things, but I really want to have that conversation. I'm going to get to you guys' comments. Donovan, what say you before?
I'm gonna keep it really, really short. But what about the father? Where the father at? The reason why they do that is because we're trying to impress and get a man. All of these tropes now, I'm going to be writing these things down as we make excuses for just what you just said when I asked if that was a Black-owned beauty store. This is exactly why our community continues to fail, because it's called roaching. We see somebody and we target our own community. We see graffiti, we don't bother to call it in and get it fixed up. We see something broken in our neighborhood, we don't say nothing. This is exactly why. And, again, there's going to be some people I know somewhere in the comments, even a day or 2 or 3 out that are going to see this, and they're going to come with the comments. Well, where were the fathers? Well, the father was in the home. This is that. Where's her man? All this other stuff. Like you said, today we're not talking about them. We are talking about the ladies.
Well, and I just want to add this, that I believe when we're talking about the ladies, we should introduce the men and their fathers as well, because I don't care what y'all say. My father was very instrumental in my life, and I learned a whole lot of things about being a Black woman from my Black daddy.
Absolutely.
And, how to be upstanding and all of that. So I think we should interject, where is the father now? I'm not blaming those fathers, but I'm saying we need to have a conversation on how do we fix the mother of civilization so that we can continue on and not diminished due to the foolishness. That's the conversation we should be having.
Right. Well, a lot of people don't really understand this, and I maybe you'll agree, maybe you won't agree, but a lot of women learn to be ladies not from their mother, it's from their father, and how to act and be around men and stuff like that. Isn't it more so from the father than it is the mother?
I like to tell you guys, I had 2 fathers, and I learned a hell of a lot from both of them. So I don't think we should discount the father in the lives of a girl. So anyway, y'all, let's get to these comments. And so let's see, where did I leave off? So we have here Easy, how you doing? Says hello, fam D and Donovan. And Thunder, how you doing? Says hello, everyone. And you were rocking that hat the other day, sis. I just threw that hat on real quick because Donovan was like, you need to come on here. And I was like, yeah, okay. I'm Netflixing and chilling. Really, I was, right? So my hair was in like 2 ponytails. But thank you. And GA Fit Health, how you doing? Says this story was sickening to hear, shaking my damn head. Yes, indeed. And again, if you guys are on Facebook and you want to be included in the conversation, click on the link that Marcus has provided, and I'll be more than happy to read your comment.
And real quick, were the girls apprehended? Are they in custody right now?
I heard that they were. I didn't get any confirmation. Something I heard, so I don't know. But the owner of the store said they did. They know the identities of the girls.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. They ended up going to jail. So basically, tie that in. If you saw the video, the ponytail comes off in jail. The wig that they stole, they can't take with them.
Yeah, eyelashes and none of that. That's why I said you can't wear a wig in prison. They don't let you wear that kind of stuff in prison. You were in there, bald-headed eyelashes and everything. Okay. And Thunder says, now I'm wondering, how are they going to blame black men for this? Y'all need to stop. Olivia, he says, oh yes, I remember seeing this the other day. Put the baby in danger as well. This is really upsetting and disgusting. Yes, it is. Anastasia, how you doing? Says, hey, beloved. And Donovan says, by the way, RIP to Kid Kango of UTFO. Yes, indeed. UTFO was one of the first rap tapes that I bought. I remember listening to it with my siblings. We used to go back and forth to LA to visit my dad, and my brother would drive us, and we would listen to it. And so, yes, one of the greats has left. He had colon cancer. A lot of our black men, famous and not famous, are losing their lives due to cancers and a whole bunch of stuff. So yes, right. RIP.
Real quick trivia. How did the Kango Kid get his start? What group did he back before he became a UTFO?
I'm not for sure.
He and Dr. Ice were dancers for Houdini.
Got it. Okay. And let's see here. And Anita, how you doing? It says greetings, Demetra, Donovan, and family. And GA, so you're talking to Thunder. And Nicole, how you doing? He says, that's a damn shame. Our own people, shaking my head. Yes, indeed. Our own people doing it to our own people. And Olivia says, Donovan, you and this queen, quote unquote, thing. Right. Hey, well, Walter.
Let me say something about the queen thing. And I said it in the comments. What I'm saying when I say queen, and me and Demetra talk about this all the time. Everybody can't be a queen. We got to just stop putting an umbrella of a title on everybody. Those actions, what those girls did was not even princessly.
And Walter, he says, Donovan, damn, Roxanne. I saw you talking about UTFO. Walter, where are you? Are you able to, because I think he wants to come on. He's going overseas, so I don't know if he's able to do that. And Angela, how you doing? He says, Donovan, nobody said they were queens. That is a fact. And Robin, how you doing? And Donovan said, I agree. Nobody called them queens, which is why we have to stop giving a title to just because. He said, queens don't act like that. Hey, Brother Jonelle, how you doing? He says, peace, queen. Brother Donovan and family. Intrinsic One, how you doing? He says, hey, you two very good people. Greetings to you and everyone in the chat. Hello from India, Indian Rocks Beach, Florida. Y'all, okay. How's the weather there in Houston? It is freezing. Finally. And you say, wow. And Patricia, how you doing? It says, unbelievable. Yes, indeed. And Anastasia says, this is not the first time a woman killed this lady's young daughter, and the murderer threatened to beat the mom up for telling people she was a murderer. So you're going to add some more charges on to the nonsense you got going on? It's just, I'm serious. Like, are we in the twilight zone? Because if we are, then I can understand, And Olivia says, I hope they've been caught already trying to get our people to support one another, and they do this shit. I'm positive they've never done this to Asians. Nah, because, by now, the Asians, they arrive and something else up in there, okay? You're going to come out with, I was going to say something crazy, but I'm not. And Anita says, what in the entire hell over a wig? Yes, so you feel me? You know what I'm saying?
And then you got to think about this, okay? Regardless of the situation, I don't know if they're getting child support or not, but you know, these women have children, obviously. I'm assuming they work. You know, why do you have to steal it? Why do you have to steal it? You got aid, or if you're getting cash aid and all this other stuff that goes on. I'm not saying all women do that. What I'm saying is I'm sure they have a financial windfall somewhere to pay for a wig.
My thing is, though, when did the wig become so important? You know, and I would say this too, is as sisters, one thing about sisters, we're going to spend some money on our looks, whether it's our hair, our makeup, our clothes. We just do, and we spend probably the most money doing that, especially on our hair. But when did hair become so important that you would jeopardize your life and the life of somebody else? Like when did that become like the thing that just like, it's like wigs are like crack, I guess. Wigs and bundles, you know, I'd do anything for it. It's crazy. And Thundy says, when they called back, that was witness intimidation. Yeah, like if you tell, we gonna come back up in there on you. It's like, really? And Olivia says, I will cuss for you, Demetra, if need be. I'm not quite ready to stop cussing yet. Okay.
Yeah, trust me, I know.
And one who cares is not surprised they wouldn't pull this issue with the other type of store owners. Nah, they probably wouldn't have. And so Easy says black businesses hire armed security to deter this behavior. Right. But so then the other side of that would have been, oh, they didn't have to shoot them over no wigs. It was just some wigs. Y'all see what I'm saying? So it's like, how do you win for losing? Right. So that's why I said we really need to figure out how to fix the mother of civilization, because this has got to stop.
Yeah, remember a couple of years ago, Demetra, we did a show on that girl that got shot. Her and her boyfriend got shot, and they got jumped in Atlanta somewhere over a wig. She was selling bundles. And so it's almost like the same scenario.
It's like crack. And Olivia says, what if she had a gun and decided to use it, and that baby get caught up in the crossfire, or the pregnant one got shot in the stomach? They don't think that far. Yeah, I just want the wig. And Jonah says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Ignorance leads to bad choices. We are, as the scripture says, blind, deaf, dumb, and truly self-destructive instead of self-productive. Our struggle is for self-awareness, self-love, and self-elevation mentally, because we are truly lost in ignorance and self-degradation. We must be taught civility on all levels. Yes. And I think that's the perfect answer. We need to start teaching that again, you know. And Honeydew, how you doing? And Robbie says, that's right, Demetra. And GA Fit Healthy says, one was apprehended, the other two were her sisters. Yeah.
So this was a family criminal organization.
Mm-hmm.
All girls.
Yeah, they was gonna be walking around with some stolen wigs on. And Easy says, D, we need to go hard on some of our own. This savage behavior has to be called out, and death with necessary force to deter the behavior from destroying our businesses. Yeah, I mean, and you guys know, and I'm not saying that it's all us, but we've seen that it's us. In Los Angeles, they're telling people not to even come there. They're telling tourists, do not come to LA. Do not go, because we can't guarantee your safety, because it is truly the wild, wild west out there.
Yeah, there was another smash and dash this morning.
It's like, and Olivia says, you learn from both parents in different ways. Hopefully these women are teaching their daughters how to be ladylike, and the men are being the example of the men we need. And there you go. So that's why I said the father does need to be included in the conversation to show your daughters what's to be expected and how other men will see you, you know, if you are doing A, B, C, and D. Like I said, I learned a lot from both of my fathers on how to be ladylike. Like, who was the best to teach you that? I know your mom is going to naturally teach you those things, but your father is going to teach you those things from a male point of view.
Right. Well, what men look for, what we look at. Like, you guys saw the video of the young girl that was trap housing at her wedding. A real man would have walked up and out of there at that point, because she's for the streets. It's obvious she's for the streets. But again, it depends on how you're raised. If you're raised with both parents or whatever your influence is. Right.
And Robert says, where did this happen? I might want to pull it back up. It happened in Florida somewhere. It was Broward County, I think it is. So it was like, I guess the southern part of Florida, which I guess is all the South. But yeah, it happened in Florida, and I'm still flabbergasted that these were wigs. These were wigs, okay? And Jonelle says, you elevate a woman, you elevate the nation. Our Black women are fed insecurity and degradation, a cycle we must break. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Let's do a quick scenario. Yeah, dog. What you in for? Murder. What you in for? Rape. What you in for? Wig.
You stupid. But I love what you said, Jonelle, because we are taught insecurity, right? And I know where you're going with that, because it's like, you don't feel like you can be beautiful without a wig. And if you can't afford it, you can't fashion another hairstyle until you can afford a wig. You know, like you will do anything for this wig, including risk going to prison and harming somebody for a wig. Like that is the definition of being insecure. Well, I just gotta have this wig because without this wig, I ain't nobody. I mean, it's just crazy to me. And hey, Sunlight, how you doing? And Olivia says every woman can be a queen, although some are not. Yeah, so I would say the operative word in your sentence is can be a queen, but there are things that one must do to be a queen. Like, you know, we do use the term loosely around here. I'm a queen. Well, queens don't do certain things. You would never see a queen twerking and bending her butt over all out in public and, you know, stealing wigs and loud talking. How many of y'all seen queens in Walmart on the phone and calling people all kind of names and
in their pajamas, dressed in their pajamas?
Queens don't do those things. And so, yes, we all have the ability to be queens, but some of us are now walking in our queendom. We are walking in being clowns and jesters.
And did you notice one of the girls had a bonnet on?
You know, y'all know how I feel about the bonnet. I mean, if you want to wear a bonnet in public, I don't care. I will never wear one in public. I just me. I really don't.
If I was a business owner after seeing that video, I would be highly suspect of a person coming into my shop after being robbed previously that had a bonnet on.
Well, there are some businesses that you know, say they won't allow you in with a bonnet, depending on what type of business I was running. I wouldn't want you to wear a bonnet either. If I don't want you to wear a tank top or sagging pants or pajamas, I probably wouldn't want you to wear a bonnet either. I mean, especially just depending on what establishment that I'm running, right? And let's see who is here. Eli, how you doing? And Ellie B, how you doing? He says, I'm so glad I have my own locks. Been growing them for 10 years. Yes, your own hair. You ain't got to be out there, you know, jacking people for wigs and stuff. I mean, is it going to come to a point to where people are just walking down the street and people just snatching the wigs off? I mean, like, this is crazy to me.
Yeah, it's going to get like that. I mean, this is how it's going to be. Well, what was the Purge? What do you think that movie was about? But LB, I'm glad because, you know, 10 years, ladies, especially my Black ladies, patience. Your hair will grow. Do what it is you need to do to moisturize, whatever you're going to do, but you got to have some patience. It took her 10 years to do their locks.
I mean, I get it. You know, I don't always like combing my hair. It doesn't always do what I want it to do. So I get wearing a wig. I just don't get, you know, harming people to do that. I'm like I said, I've heard of some pretty wild things, but this is up there.
Yeah. Now think about this. Now, I'm a military man, but a lot of people get traumatized just for the mere fact they were in a robbery.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my house broken into years and years ago, and it was very traumatizing because it's like, damn, I got somebody running through my stuff, and who was it? And do they, you know, so it does mess with you, right? And Amber, how you doing? He says, like crack. I mean, it is. I would imagine you just, I gotta have it, like, you know.
You know what? But that's a good analogy because they had their children with them. What person would do a crime with their children unless they have to be on crack?
Well, I don't know if they want crack, but the wig is damn sure some crack to be
doing
something
like that. I'm saying, you know, that desire to have that wig was so strong that I don't care if my kids see me do this or if my kids might be in danger or whatever. I'm, you know, if you're going to do what you're going to do, it's just like a prostitute. If she's over 18 and she's going to do what she's going to do, all you could do is pray for her, you know, if that's what she's going to do. But she's grown. She can make those decisions. But now you put your own children in that type of situation in danger. So now you're going to prison and the children go to CPS or whatever the thing is. And we know what happens to Black children in CPS and foster homes.
Absolutely. And honey, do you say, wow, hyenas? Like Phil would say, yes, I'm behind again. No, that's okay. You'll catch up. But yeah, I mean, that's it. I know a lot of people don't like that term, but I mean, that's how hyenas act, wild. And Jonelle, you say they think them wigs and foreign hair is gold. Yeah, apparently gold crack. And somebody says they're trying to drum up support for cops. That's what that's about. So you talking about in LA where they're showing all the videos and stuff?
Yeah,
Well,
but that's a false narrative, because show me anywhere in the country where police budgets have been cut. It hasn't happened yet.
well, my thing is too, because yeah, so I do get where you're going with that as far as them highlighting the smash and grabs and stuff like that, trying to drum up support for police, but we shouldn't be giving them the reason to do that. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that you're saying that. And Reggie, how you doing? He says, greetings, global black family. Yes, indeed. And Robert, how are you? He says, I'm telling you, people are blind and dumb down by who really knows what. If you're in the know, people pay attention to what's up around us, and it don't. It says, see what's really zero true. Total control B, wouldn't believe it if you've seen it. Let's put that out, sister. So if I think I understand what you're saying, it's funny because I was actually talking to Donovan before we came on. Within the Communist Manifesto, it talks about how we as humans, in the world, I guess, we are so distracted by everything else, politics and this, that, and the other, but we are not seeing the exchange of power and capitalism. That is what's really running all of this. And so what are we not seeing that we're supposed to be seeing, right? So good point. And Jonah, he says, imagine if a woman loved their God given natural hair more than they love dog hair. Dog hair, excuse me. This foreign hair, there would be no need to steal someone else's hair. The root is surely self-hate. Yeah, I mean, golly. Anita says they could be looking at organized crime charges. Hell yeah. Especially in Florida, they don't play that. I mean, you in the South, and it's like people just don't think those things through at all. Hey, Brother Todd, how you doing? You say some of y'all act like wearing your real hair is depressing. I wouldn't. For me, it's not depressing. I mean, I've never worn a wig or a weave. I mean, other than braids, right? I guess maybe some extensions. I guess individuals, but I mean, sometimes to do your natural hair, it does take work. I'm not gonna lie. It's not like a wake up and it's like, oh, it does take some work. But I guess some people may be depressed about their natural hair, but I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Let me say this. Now, you just said that that takes work. Some of you ladies are getting these BBLs, and I'm not pointing anybody. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But you can get the same results if you work out. Oh, that's right. That takes work.
Well, I've been working out, and it does take work, but I don't necessarily have a problem with people getting work done. Some people want to tighten it up and snatch it back. I mean, that's all good, but I guess it's you'd have to consider the reasons that you're doing those things, right? So at the end of the day, I think it's really about loving yourself no matter what. But I don't have a problem with people enhancing their bodies if that's what they want to do.
No. But what I'm saying is, it just seems like there is a narrative going on with our Black women in regards to anything that is worth having. If you have to put some work into it, you rather take the shortcut. Relationships, it takes work. Working out takes work. We rather just go ahead and pay the money instead of combing my hair. I'd rather go get a wig. You know what I mean? Do you see a narrative kind of forming with our women? Yeah.
Oh, gee, how you doing? He says, what's wrong with being just a woman? Well, there's nothing wrong with being a woman at all. I mean, to me, I'm a woman, but I guess I get where you're going with that. What's wrong with just being your natural self? Well, you guys got to remember too, we live in a society to where, especially now with the internet, Instagram, and all of that, where it tells you it's something wrong with you in your natural self. You got to have all these enhancements, the wigs, the eyelashes, all the makeup on, and this, that, and the other to be considered beautiful. And let's be honest, men, y'all tend to like that kind of stuff. So I remember Little Kim, because, people drag Little Kim through the mud for all the enhancements that she had. And she says she did it because she felt like if I can't beat him, I might as well join him. She says, every time I've been cheated on, he cheated on whoever it was, cheated on me with a European looking woman. She said her father told her that she was ugly. And so she says, I know I have body dysmorphia issues, but that's why I did it, because I didn't love myself. I didn't feel like I was good enough being my Black self. But, you know, she did it to please a man at the end of the day. I don't know. And intellect, because goddess intellect, I think that's what it says. How you doing? It says, never worn a bonnet in public, never will. Yeah, I mean, that's me too. And Olivia says, I agree, Demetra. And goddess intellect, it says, yes, just started my locks and I love them. I got tired of wigs. Yeah, a lot of women are going to locks. I said I was going to lock my hair once, but I like to comb my hair too much to do that. And intrinsic one, you says it's sunny and 77 degrees temperature, going to the beach type weather. Yay. And Sile Green, forgive me for mispronouncing your name. He said, and how you doing, by the way? He says, in some countries, they are snatching wigs. Ridiculous. See, now I just thought that was a joke, but I guess apparently, can you imagine you la-di-da-di-da, walking down the street and wham, somebody snatch. And I know those wigs have to be held on by combs, so you might be snatching somebody's hair out. Crazy. And God is intellect, he says shame. And thank you, Marcus, for sharing the link. If you guys are on Facebook and you want us to read your comments, click the link and I will be more than happy to do that. And Jonelle says, Queen, you come on the show all the time looking beautiful with your God-given natural hair. In truth, man prefer natural over artificial. There's nothing wrong with enhancement, but nothing beats waking up to a beautiful reality. Nowadays, majority of women are looking like whack Barbies with assortments, fake everything. The natural self is fought against in the society, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, how many of you guys, like, you'll go to Walmart or you'll go to a store and you'll see a girl that has her wig and she didn't even comb it. It's like, it looked like she just got out of the bed. And, you know, I don't know how much the wig costs. I don't really care. But what I'm saying is they go out in public and it's just there. You know, I don't understand it, you know?
Yeah, I've seen it. But once again, thank you, Jonelle. But yeah, that's what we are taught in the society, that being your natural self is something wrong with that. And it's nothing wrong with that. I mean, this is how we are, right? Of course, like you say, you want to do some enhancements, but damn, I want to be able to recognize you from one day to the next. And Sunlight says, I've never said police budgets were cut, did I?
No. That what I'm saying, what I was answering to was the fact that, like, in here in California, where they do that narrative, they're trying to say, like, oh, you know, that narrative of, like, defund the police. That they're trying to say, oh, you're defunding the police. And I always push back and I tell people there hasn't been a budget in the United States that has ever been cut yet.
And Easy say they use the children as a prop to make them seem less threatening and for stores to let their guard down. That's exactly what I thought when I was watching it, because, you know, especially in the other stores, ain't no way they would have handed over 3, 4, 5 wigs and let them try them on without, you know, some sort of a measure. But I agree with you. They probably thought, well, surely one's pregnant, one has a baby, they're not going to, you know, do much, right? But apparently not. Can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Well, we can't hear you, but and how you doing? Donnie says hi, Demetra and Donovan. And Sunlight says, here we go. And Olivia says, I know that some people have low self-esteem, and that is what needs to be fixed before making any decisions on body enhancements. Yes, I totally agree with you, because there'll never be enough of more. You'll always need to find something else to fix. You know, and I told you guys once before, I was going to go have a procedure. I was going to get my girls lifted. And I went to the appointment, and as I'm sitting there in the lobby, I see all these women coming in there, and I'm like, well, they look like they had work done. What else could they be getting done? Like their kneecaps lifted? I don't know. And so when I was done with the appointment, I decided not to do it. I said, because then I'll be wanting to get something else done. I won't be satisfied. And so I was like, hey, you know what? You better get to learn to love the body that you're in, because if you don't, then you'll be like a walking science project. And I didn't want to be that. And Brandy. Yes, we hear you now.
Did you send me a meme of some people in the DR that got some work done or something? Wasn't that a meme or something?
It was a video of these women. It was a plane full of women. And this one lady's sister was filming it. She says that she showed there's different places on the plane that different women, it was sisters, were kind of leaning over the seat, and they were on their knees, like kind of laying on the seat like that, because they had came back from the DR getting BBLs, and it was uncomfortable to sit down. And there was like 5 or 6 of them on that one plane. And so she says, ladies, if you're going to come over here and do that, make sure you bring something comfortable for your knees. Olivia says, oh, sorry, I read that. And Brandy, how you doing? He says, puberty is puberty, and I want young women to develop the love of their selves. Yes, indeed. But, we have to start teaching that to them. Love yourself. Because when you love yourself, you have flaws. We all have flaws. I don't care how much you work out and how much surgery you have. We're all going to have flaws, but we got to get to a point as humans and say, you know what? I'm flawed. And that's the way it is, as long as I love me. Because I feel like when you love yourself, then you're going to attract somebody who loves you just as much. I ain't talking about that fake love, like, ooh, child, love me. Because a lot of times we run around saying that, but we don't really mean it. And so when you really love yourself, you will attract love, back to you. So you're absolutely right. We need to start teaching, ourselves and our children to love themselves. Hey, Charles, how you doing? He says, peace, everybody. And Thunder says, when you said tighten it and snatch it back, to be honest, my mind started racing. We ain't talking about your old women with the vinegar, okay?
And the slips.
Warrior Scholar, how you doing? He says, apparently the rich guys like that. We like the natural thing. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I kind of see where you're going with that, because when you see guys with a lot of money, you tend to see them with women who are like, and their waist is that small, and it's just like, golly, Dr. Frankenstein or no, and Sunlight says, in my opinion, unless you practice what you preach, you shouldn't criticize others. And I agree with that 100%. And
right. But then you got to remember, so when do you criticize? After the person's overdosed on drugs, after they busted it out, and and there's no return? I mean, my question is this, and I know Sunlight likes to move the conversation. When can you criticize? When are you supposed to criticize?
All right, so we'll give her a chance to answer that. And Dana, and how you doing? He says, this is so real. We have to love ourselves. This is too much jail for hair that you can't even wear in the damn jail. It's crazy. And Jonelle says, they have put themselves in the hands of those who have no mercy for them, like the injustice being served to the Latin truck driver. Oh my God, who brakes went out. He's getting over 100 years, I think 110 years is what they gave him, while Killer Kyle is doing talk shows and getting bread. So these girls and their organized crime of hair stealing may get felony charges or worse. Women must recognize and learn to appreciate their God-given beauty instead of being lost in false European standards of beauty. Absolutely. And, that was taught to us since we're over here, since slavery, that white, being European is the standard of beauty. And unfortunately, a lot of Black women have been trying to chase that unrealistic standard for us as beauty. And, hell, now they trying to be like us, because we are the standard. Like, we need to really start teaching our girls, you are the standard of beauty, period. But yeah, the truck driver, it was an accident. His brakes went out and he killed 4 people accidentally. And I forget the state that he's in. Is it Utah? I'm not for sure. But anyway, the mandatory minimum says that he needs to serve that time. And the judge disagreed with it. The prosecution disagreed with it. The family of the victims disagreed with it, but they said their hands are tied. And so they filed.
Wait. Let me ask a question on that. How can the prosecution disagree with it when they're the ones that bring the charges?
Well, I guess they had to charge him for whatever reason for, the crime. I don't know. And when he was found guilty, that was the sentence that it was handed down.
Yeah, but I want your followers and listeners to understand this. Notice in the Ahmaud Arbery case, the prosecution did not bring any charges whatsoever and told the police not to do it. They can charge what they want to charge. Is what I'm saying. It's just, I'm just saying, but when it comes to us,
well, he's Colombian, so
yeah. But what I'm saying is, if they really didn't want to do it, they didn't have to do it, because the prosecutor is supposed to seek justice. That's what they're supposed to do.
It's probably the way their laws were written there.
Yeah.
They probably couldn't just allow him to get away with it per se. Not that he did it on purpose. So I'm sure it has a lot to do with the way the laws are there in whatever state that is. And Todd, you say wigs and weaves unconsciously have become a form of drug addiction, and many will try and justify the wearing of such many. Most who wear wigs and weaves wear it more times in 1 year than going without or allowing their hair to breathe. Yeah, and I agree with you. I think in some cases, not all, but some cases, it is an addiction, especially when it causes you to catch yourself a case and harm other people in order to have this standard of beauty. I don't know.
Well, the thing, I was watching one video where this girl, she admitted that she had cut 11 inches off of her hair. Black girl, she had grown her hair that long, only to keep wearing weave. So it's got to be some kind of an addiction, because if you have to cut 11 inches off of your head just to continue to wear the weave.
Well, I say I don't think it's an addiction for all. That's an addiction for some. Some people just really like to wear a weave because it's convenient, to just put a weave on or a wig and go about their day. So I can understand the convenience of it, but I don't understand by any means necessary. That I don't understand. And from what I understand, it's expensive to keep that up. So if you don't have the money and that's what you deem to be the standard of beauty, yeah, pretty soon you're going to go out there jacking people for wigs. Olivia says, just like lots of these churches in the South require you to go through couples counseling for 6 months before getting married, they should have to undergo a mental evaluation before enhancements. Yeah, you would think, but this is the other thing, Olivia. I think the doctors need to go some sort of psychological evaluation for doing what they're doing to some of these women, because it's like, you thought that looked good for you to do that to her?
Yeah. How many of you guys saw the video of the dancer? She just got back from the DR and she was cut up, and she put what had happened to her on the internet, and the doctor was going to give her $2,000 back on a $9,000 job and asked her to sign a non-disclosure agreement and a promise not to sue. It was just sad. I mean, a lot of our women are getting cut up for no reason.
And Charles, you say, I love the natural look, and I always have, but for some reason, Black women will argue with me that I don't, because they believe Black men prefer the Karen look. Well, brothers, y'all are on here. I think some of y'all could really speak to that there are a lot of brothers who, and Donovan and I had this conversation years ago, and I asked him, I said, if there was a natural sister standing next to a Beyonce, who would you more than likely approach? And he said,
Florida Evans.
You a damn lie.
Of course. The Beyonce type. Right.
And Beyonce is natural. I mean, that's her hair. I don't know if it's blonde or whatever, but so let's just keep it real. A lot of men do think that Beyonce is the standard of beauty. I mean, doesn't Kevin Samuels give her an 8 or something like that? Yeah, and I guess she's supposed to be the top-notch standard of beauty, even with him. Secret Garden, how you doing? Long time no see. Says it's programming of both men and women. Yes, indeed. And Robin says she's probably poor. Maybe she don't have good hair or wigs. I don't know. I'm not going to drag her for wigs. And so who are we talking about? Are we talking about anybody in particular or just women in general? And Olivia says our ancestors just told Donovan to shut up. Oh, when his mic went out, you might be on to something. And God is intellect. He says kneecaps lifted. I mean, I was just saying, like, what else could you be up in here doing? Because you got everything done. And Robin says, I'm not going to drag other women about their weaves and wigs. I have long locks. Anything can happen health-wise. That can change all that. So yes, of course, we want to concede the fact that somebody has a health condition. Yeah, you're gonna wear a wig. So I'm not saying that I'm not even saying wig wearing is bad. That's not even my stance. I'm saying it's bad when it causes you to do things that you shouldn't be doing in order to obtain the standard of beauty. That's what I'm saying. I don't have a problem with people wearing wigs. I can only be concerned with my head. Thunder says, hard times create hard men. Hard men make good times. Good times create soft men. Create hard times. Ever since the civil rights movement, we can use, do, buy like them. We got soft and now hard. That is definitely food for thought. And Sunlight says, well said, Demetra. And Jonelle says, I recall a time women's hair wasn't so crayon. So crayon nowadays is every color in the rainbow, as Secret Garden Bay, Bay said. It's programming on both men and women. We must revoke against these European ways and come back to self-love. That's our true exodus that will empower us as a people. Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, I'm just trying not to say too much because I know how sensitive people are. I'm gonna just say me. I would not wear a rainbow wig. I wouldn't wear a colored wig of any wig. That's just me. I would not do that. I'm not saying what other women should do. I just would not wear that because, I'm 50. And I think if I was going to do those things, maybe it would have been in my 20s or so, where I don't know, just I'm not walking around with no green wig on nowhere. I am not going to do that. And Sunlight says, when you are the example to follow, how about that?
So basically, your father, who's not a woman, but he's a man, tells you and gives you advice on how you should conduct yourself. That should just be thrown completely out. Your uncle or any man that you might have a respect that has a different opinion, you should throw that out. An aunt who's not your mom, but she's a woman and she has experience, and she gives you some advice. We should just throw that out. Okay, gotcha. That makes sense.
And Robert says, when it impacts your life. And Sunlight says, I'm not moving anything. I'm on topic like always. So she's referring to you, Donovan. And Tawana says, how can our girls develop a sense of loving themselves when their mothers put weave in their hair when they are very young? And, my sister is a school teacher. She teaches the 5th grade, and she talks about young girls coming to school with weaves on all the time. I'm like in the 5th grade. I mean, what happened to the pigtails and the beads and the barrettes and stuff?
Who was saying that 6 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, and you'd be surprised too. A lot of them are wearing eyelashes. It's like, what happened to the ones you had? And Brandy says it's Colorado. Okay, so yeah, and I see that too. Jonelle, so Denver is where that was for the trucker. And then Brandy say they could have given other charges.
She's talking in regards to the district attorney doing that involuntary manslaughter. They could have done.
Yeah, because they were saying everybody involved is not on board with that man getting all of those years. Even the victim's family is like, wait a minute now, it was an accident. We don't want this, but due to the mandatory minimums there in Denver, Colorado's, even the judge is like, my hands are tied. And Sunlight says, to be clear, if you're not putting in the work in the gym, how can you tell someone else what they should be doing?
But isn't that contradictory, Sunlight? What you're saying? So now you're saying that you have to be in the gym in order to say something, but it's kind of, I'm kind of confused at what you're kind of saying. I don't think you have to be in the gym to tell somebody how to be healthy. What if you're just a natural person and you do yoga? You're not in the gym, but you're doing yoga.
Warrior Scholar says, let's be clear, natural beauty is an indicator of good health in general. Better physical health, better body smells, better cooking skills, more in touch with earth and spirit. That's just the truth. Yes, indeed. What you do to yourself from in the inside, it radiates on the outside. So I 100% agree with you, because it's not always about how I look, how I dress myself up. How are you from the inside? So great point. And Thunder says, ever since they ended segregation and the good times came, we had been going down. We lost that hunger for a better position, living standards, power to determine your future in exchange for personal clout. Yep, it is all about the individual now. We don't move as a unit anymore. So you're absolutely right. Brandon says the wigs and weaves, says Delos, multiple personalities. Oh, develops, I think you meant. Yeah, there you go. Develops multiple personalities. So what? Today I'm Jane, and tomorrow with a different wig I'm Barbara. Is that how it works? And Olivia says wearing braids is also a protective thing as far as our hair as well. Yeah, braids are a protective style, but I actually stopped wearing braids because they were not protective for me. They were trying to snatch my edges out, and I was like, no. And plus, the last couple times I got it done, the sisters was heavy-handed. I mean, I was like, oh, did you have to braid in my brain too? And so I'm just like, I don't want to take myself through that no more. So, but they can't be protective styles. You're absolutely right. And Sunlight says lies. That's not her real hair. So who are we talking about now? And Donna says, damn cat tearing my feet up. Yeah, your cat's like feet. And Charles says it depends on the woman, which one you would choose between Beyonce and the natural. Beyonce is beautiful, but there are women that support the natural look that are just as beautiful. Of course.
And you know, and no shade to Beyonce, but to me, she's an average looking black woman in the South. I see, and right, especially where you're at, Demetra, in Houston, you see a bunch of Beyonce looking chicks. Louisiana, Alabama, you see those girls all over the place down there, especially Arkansas.
Yes, indeed. And Thunder says the nation says we must have knowledge of self. When you have this, you will value yourself more. If you know what it takes for you to get here, the sacrifices that were made, you will act and carry yourself with dignity. I absolutely agree with you. It does start with knowledge of self. When you know who you are, you don't like, you really have knowledge of self. You ain't trying to look like somebody else. You know, I mean, unless black people do grow blonde hair in some regions, I guess. But you know damn well you don't have blonde hair naturally and blue eyes and all. This is like, again, I don't want to come off as judgmental, so let me keep reading. Robin says, I agree, Demetra. I was talking about the comment made about a sister in the store with a raggedy wig on. Oh, did I say that or Donovan say that? I don't think it was me. But to be honest with you, I have seen some sisters wearing some raggedy wigs. I'm like, so y'all just rolled over and got out the bed and, you know, threw your wig up in the air and just put it on the head?
No, they just rolled out the bed, kept their pajamas on, threw the wig on, and went to Walmart.
But okay, let's just keep it real, okay? Because we're out there in the public and, you know, we see things, and I've seen some pretty bad wigs. I'm like, did you clip it down or did you just... And he just went out the house because it's terrible. Like, so, because I remember back in the day when my grandmother wore wigs, she wore a cascade type of thing. I don't remember her wearing a full wig, neither of my grandmas. But older women, like you might have known it was a wig, but it was, these wigs nowadays, it's like you ain't fooling nobody. Stevie Wonder could see that's a damn wig gloater, okay? And hey, chocolate girl, how you doing? OG says I prefer natural. Always have. My wife hair is natural, but she wears wigs. It bothers me sometimes, but she does that for herself, not me. Yeah, but I'm sure she can switch it up natural when she wants to, right? And Sunlight says you don't compare us as usual.
Comprehend.
I'm sorry. You don't comprehend as usual. I said when you are the example to follow.
But we have a lot of examples in the Black community, especially our Black women, of women that they should follow. They're out there. Monique gives advice all the time. That's what I'm saying. In every group, there's going to be a negative group. Every group has that. But why is it that our group seems to follow the loudest talking denominator, which is the alternative Black woman?
Charles says, way back, I dated a Caucasian woman who was a makeup artist, and she told me all white women are envious of Black skin. So you're right. They want to be you, but you're busy trying to be them. Absolutely. I mean, my daughter's dark skin, chocolate sister, and she gets compliments from everybody about her skin. I'm like, yeah, you know, so, but I never taught her that anything else was better than her. Oh, you a dark skinned girl, so you're going to have to do things differently and all of that. I never taught her to be inferior to anybody because of the color of her skin. And Androsarian, I know I said that wrong, but how you doing? He says, I read your comment. He says, why did the song from Nucleus come to mind while those girls were stealing, going, how's it go? Wiggy, 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 wiggy.
Shut up. Wiggy, 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 wiggy. Shut up.
Doom, 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 doom. Olivia says the eyelash thing has gotten totally out of control. They're wearing little dustpans on their eyelids. Yes, I've seen some of this. Like, can you even see? Like, if you blink fast enough, you might take flight. It's crazy. And you also say, why are you twisting up Sunlight's words? She didn't say that.
Well, again, that isn't what I heard. So please redo it. That ain't what I heard.
And Sunlight says, okay, let's not play word games. Okay, you know exactly what I said. If you don't work out, it doesn't make sense to be criticizing others for not working out. So yeah, I mean,
But
that makes sense.
wait, yeah, but who says that? I mean,
But because you got to concede the point, Donovan. If
No.
you don't work out, okay. That's like me hitting the pipe and saying, "Listen, child, don't smoke this crack."
But a lot of them did that, though. That's what I'm saying. We live in a contradictory society. You can't say we don't.
So you're saying it's not good to tell somebody to not to work out if they're not working out? Is that what you're saying?
No. What I'm saying is I don't have to work out to tell somebody they need to work out. You see what I'm saying?
Do you think you should work out to tell somebody they need to work out?
No, not necessarily. Because
Lord,
think about it.
Have mercy.
No. Think about it. Because, okay, let's say like I have a child and the child is, I have a niece and my niece is overweight. Let's say I'm not working out because I'm naturally small, whatever the deal is, right? And I say, hey, sweetheart, you're kind of getting, you're 5'2" and you're 380 pounds. I think maybe you need to start hitting the gym. So what you're saying is I don't have a right to tell her that because I don't work out?
I mean,
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. When I say, yeah, you can say that.
I think we would need to define the right. Do you have the right? Think about that for a second. Let me get to these comments. Do you have the right? And I'm going to say, Norman, how about that? You say, have you heard of those security doors that lock instantly? Some send off an electric shock if they touch them. I have heard of those. They try to lock people in who are doing like smash and grabs and stuff like that. That like, why have to have somebody do that to you, right? Sunlight says that's not Beyonce's real hair. Most of it is. Her hair is pretty long. I saw a video of her mom actually put it up because people were saying that it's not her hair. And her mom put up a video of her cutting her hair. And Beyonce's hair is pretty long. It goes past the middle of her back. So she's got a lot of hair. And let's see here. And Robin says, Donovan said it, but Donovan knows I love him still. He cracks me up sometimes. Oh, and by the way, you guys know Moni was supposed to be on here, but she couldn't be on here. She had some errands to run. But Donovan, she wanted me to tell you that she thinks you are so sexy and fine and chocolate. I just think he is so sexy. So I told her I will relay that to you.
Okay, but doesn't every woman think that? I'm just saying, thank you.
And Norma says, my daughter has been sporting her natural hair since birth. Self-love is necessary to teach our children. Yeah. And you guys have probably taught her that from birth. There's nothing wrong with your hair. You've taught her to just from the cradle to love her hair, but unfortunately, a lot of girls, especially nowadays, don't get that, right? They see their moms doing it. And so it's like, well, shit, let me go and get me one, a wig or a weave or whatever. Again, I'm not bashing anybody who does it, to each his own, but I think that should be taught to girls before they think about putting on a wig, right? And Sunlight says, note the deflection. And Thunder says, for me, a gorgeous woman was a young Eartha Kitt. Yeah, she was out there. Marcus. I don't believe a young Eartha Kitt was gorgeous for you because you like older women. You probably liked it when she was much older. And Olivia says, I found out my grandma had a wig on when she fell asleep in the recliner after church, and her wig did the gangster lean. But that back then they wore wigs to church and stuff like that, to give their hair an enhancement. But not everybody's wearing a wig. And Jonas says the insecure women leads in this society. What true secure woman is given to women via media? Those who regulate the society knows what to dominate their media with as a standard for women. We can't ignore the hidden hands aim at shaping our reality. Is just that the masses is a docile, and those eyelids look like heavy bird wings hindering their blinks. I couldn't do it. I would just always see this like spiders, But again, to each his own. And Sunlight says, no, I don't. Oh Lord, Donovan, you gonna get it. And Steve, how you doing? He says, hey, Demetra Kaye and Donovan Sadiq, can I be a recovering demo rat?
Yes, we all black people are actually recovering Democrats. We can't help ourselves. We want to just vote for this party, and if we have time, we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yes, indeed. The pioneer must be out there working. I just thought about him. Uh, and someone says that's the problem. Just because you're naturally small, that does not equate to physically fit at all. I'm sure you know that.
Yeah, no, that ain't what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I have a niece. She's overweight. She's 5'2", 380 pounds. So I don't have a right to say, hey, baby, you're kind of heavy, you're hard or whatever, and just suggest that she goes to the gym. That's all I'm saying.
Do you have the right?
Sure, I do. Sure,
Well,
it's freedom of speech. I might not be correct. She doesn't have to take my advice, but I should be able to, tell her, hey, you're a little heavy.
I'm just kidding. I'm gonna let y'all snack.
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying that. Oh, she's gonna take it well or whatever. What I'm saying is, when in our society do we, as men and women in the older generation, need to step in, like somebody at that wedding where that girl was a thought? Nobody got up, nobody corrected it, nobody stopped it. Back in the day, we used to have adults that would say, hey, this is not acceptable, this is not that. No, let's just be a free-for-all. That's all I'm asking. When can we say something? That's all I'm asking.
Well, I will say this really quick before I get to the comments. When I was younger, I developed body dysmorphia to some degree, even up until a couple of years ago, because my grandmother and my father, Nation of Islam, they prefer their women to be a certain size. I was told that I was fat as a child, and so I developed to a point to where I didn't want to eat in front of them, especially because I just didn't want to hear that I was fat. And so as I got older, even up until, my 40s, late 40s, I thought I was fat. But then I would look back on pictures of myself as a child. I'm like, there was nowhere was I fat. Like I had a natural pot belly type of thing for whatever reason. Kind of runs in
Demetra, you are nowhere the size you were 30 years ago, okay?
I know, but I'm just saying, but I wasn't fat as a child. But the point that I'm making is, because that was ramrodded into me and I wasn't emotionally equipped to handle that. I knew they were coming from a place of love, but it was drilled into me so much to where it messed with me. Like even today, like I work out so much, I have to catch myself because I'm like, I say, you're fat. And then I'm like, well, no, you're not. You've been working out. Because in my mind, I still think that I'm fat because that was imposed upon me. So I guess I'm saying that to say, when we say we have a right to say certain things to people, we need to be careful that the things that we're saying to them is not more damaging than what they are actually enduring.
Yeah, of course. I mean, to me, that's a gimme. I would not tell somebody that I'm not related to, like, oh, you just fat and mean. And I know what you're saying when, that generation used to do that. In my family, we don't do that. We have a way of saying it and saying, hey, but what I'm saying is you don't have to be a pilot in order to tell me, hey, the wing is broken. You don't have to be a pilot to tell me that. Okay? That's where I'm coming with that.
Brandon says pimping is real when it comes to these hair nets and lashes. Sorry, not sorry. Sunlight says Beyonce wears a weave. So yeah, she probably does wear a weave, but a lot of her hair, she has her own hair. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And Steve says some of their hair is African and colonizers' hair. It comes from all over the world. And Charles says everybody doesn't need to work out, but some people do. Well, I think everybody needs to work out because your heart needs to have some stimulation, needs some cardiovascular exercise and all of that. I mean, skinny people die all the time for being unhealthy. And
read that twice. The honey.
Yes, yes, Donovan, you're a hottie. You like that? Brandon, how you doing? He says Donovan Sadiq is the Vernal Hill of consciousness. Shaboing, boing, who the hell is that? My goodness. Moni, there you are. He says, just got into the house looking at my delicious Donovan and my gorgeous. He says, I think he meant Demetra, good evening to you guys. It's been a madhouse at Walmart, but a lot of great sales. Blenders, 65, now 12. Oh, wow. And Thunder says, Diane Carroll, yes. And H. McDaniel, how you doing? And Moni says, okay, Donovan, knock it off with the arrogance. See, you are my perfect brown sugar. Good evening to you, and good evening to the wonderful pioneer if he's out there somewhere. Yeah, we need to find him. Pinky T, how you doing? He says, lots of Black women have long, healthy, natural hair and choose to wear different wigs. Yeah, that is true. Not everybody is bald up under those wigs. You'd be surprised how much hair a lot of these sisters have. You're like, wow. So you're absolutely right about that. One says, Demetra, I wasn't here to get started within the first hour, but I can tell you this much coming up. As a child, my aunt and my mom and her sisters and brothers always made fun of us who had coarse 4C hair. Yeah, not to say this about your family, but that's slave mentality for us to say, well, that's not good hair, or I got good hair and all of that, right? I mean, it's just stuff that we've been taught from slavery to do to each other. And Warrior Scholar says, let's say individuals 1 and 2, neither works out, but one does. That means they both have the same unhealthy patterns that cause obesity. If one has a health problem, it's okay to advise them regardless. So I don't know if that's you, Donovan, or that was Donovan. Hey, he'll come back. He must have lost his connection somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. I just wonder how much of a right do we have? Not if it's your child or whatever, then you might want to reassess what you're feeding them. But do we really have a right to tell somebody that they need to lose weight? You know, and I'm one of those people who think everybody should work out. And Charles says, Demetra, you and Sunshine need to stop. You mean Sunlight? He says, I'm sure you've told your daughter not to do things and do things that you're not doing. If you care about somebody, it doesn't matter if you're doing it. Well, I've never told my daughter to do something I wasn't doing because I think that is hypocritical. I'm not going to tell her not to smoke rocks and I'm smoking it, because I've also know that, yeah, you can tell them don't do what I do as I say. That don't work. You have to be the example. So no, I've never told my daughter to do something I wasn't doing. That doesn't make any sense, because people, especially kids, are sponges. They absorb you and the things that you do. So Sunlight says, didn't anyone hear me say right? Damn it. And Mona says, so myself and a few of my cousins felt really bad because we didn't have the more soft or straight texture, but we had long hair, but very coarse. And my uncle, per se, really made fun of us a lot. Well, you know, he was a slave in his thinking for doing that to you. Hopefully he's not thinking that way anymore. Jonelle says, the blonde hair Black women are promoted for a reason, just like Huey P said. I don't expect the white media to create positive Black images. So our Black images in media are warfare upon us. Rather, we are aware or not. We can't all we can't, I think you may call those who are not us to regulate and impose upon us our image. From their perspective, we must always dominate that narrative. Yeah, we got to be in control of our narrative. We can't leave it up to the white-owned media to tell us about us and what the standard of beauty is. Now, you guys are probably seeing on TV nowadays, they are trying to promote more natural-looking sisters and all of that. But, you know, that's still a money grab as well. And Steve says, we as Black people do eat too much and need to be encouraged to lose weight. Yeah, we are on the heavier side, and we are the unhealthiest people in America anyway, right? And so, yeah, we do need to talk about eating better. But you know what? I would say this. I eat fairly well, but I just know trying to talk to some of us about eating better, it's a lost cause. I mean, yeah, some of us who want to eat unhealthy, and we're going to double down on eating unhealthy and, you know, justify eating unhealthy. But as we are seeing, we have a lot of, especially our Black men, who are dying at very early ages, you know, and a lot of that is controlled by your diet. So you can't eat fried chicken and drink soda, you know, every day or a lot and expect to have a long life expectancy. That's not how it works. But, you know, I don't know what to do. And Thunder, you say you have a freedom of speech. This is a right, but it does not grant you freedom for the consequences of that speech. Say what you want, but accept what comes afterwards. Absolutely. And that's kind of where I was going with it. Like, define the right, you know, like, I guess you have freedom of speech, but like you said, I mean, you need to be prepared for what comes to you being so loose-lipped about other people's decisions. and especially people you have no control over, right? And Thunder says you have a freedom of speech. This is oh no, I read that. And Sunlight says more deflection because he can't logically stay on topic. Shaking my head, laugh out loud, go ahead. I don't know what happened to Donovan. I don't know if he had a power surge or something, but I'm sure he'll be back soon. And Moni says during those times, the late 70s, early 80s, wasn't a lot of wigs that kids could wear per se, unless you had total alopecia. And then even then, they were made so poorly they didn't look good. Okay. Sunlight says exactly. And Olivia says, you have the right as a family member to tell her that rather you work out or not, but not as a random person that doesn't work out on a regular basis. Right. That's what I said to people you have control over. Like you have control over your kids, your young kids, right? Just feed them better foods, but you don't have the right to tell grown-ups and other people you're fat. I think you need to lose weight, right? And Marty says, I have come to find out too much of tight braiding, I think you mean, and weaves will cause traction alopecia, and you have to go natural transplant in Miami, Florida, or Baltimore, Maryland to get it placed back. Yeah, just, it's not a good idea to have somebody snatching your hair out. It's painful. I don't know how anybody can endure that for too long. Charles says the whole thing is women don't keep themselves up now. I remember in the 70s and early 80s, all the women wore wigs, but they kept them tight. Yeah, especially in the 70s, women wore wigs like the big afros and different hairstyles and stuff. But their whole package was well put together. And so, yeah. And Intrinsic One, you said the history of lashes has a very dark history. Research Cumbrellas and see for yourself. Shaking my head. Just by the name of that, it sounds like it's pretty gross. Sunlight says, made no sense whatsoever, always moving the goalposts. So you talk about Donovan. And Moni says, I think Demetra is how you wear it. I don't like these lace fronts because you got to put makeup in them and you have to dye them and pluck them, which is a bunch of nonsense, but some women like it, but why? Yeah, they do. What happened, Donovan? Your laptop went out?
I don't know. Remember that bug I told you that they're putting in laptops and stuff? It's just not letting me connect.
Oh, wow.
So I'll figure it out later on. Or either that or with Sunlight counseling me.
Pamela, how you doing? He says, I want to wish Demetra and Donovan a Merry Christmas and I hope you have a great week. Well, thank you so much, and the same to you. And Steve says, you're right, but a lot of them look like Florida Evans under the bird's nest. You know what? Florida Evans was a very beautiful, dark-skinned sister. So yeah, Donovan's having some technical difficulty. He'll be back. Charles says it's called pulling your coattail. We're supposed to do that. Is older people. It's not just the right, it's a responsibility. So yeah, I agree with that. You were supposed to do it within reason. Like I said, I mean, the way it was done to me, I know they were coming from a place of love, but it damaged me, I guess, psychologically, because I just, never was comfortable in my own skin. I was always chasing to be smaller, even when I was small already. So I think we just need to be careful. But, if you teach kids that from young, then you won't need to be doing all of that. And Olivia says, our ancestors are on him again, laughing my ass off. He says, agree. Pinky T says, agreed, Demetra. Okay, your hair always looks nice. I appreciate that. Thank you. And H. McDaniel says, what these young people need to love even more than hair is learn to love the color of their skin, especially if they are dark skinned. Loving their hair will come automatically. I love all of me. Yes, indeed. We have to learn to love all of ourselves. And Moni says, Donovan, you have a right to tell a person about their weight for the health purposes, but at the same time, help them if you can. Maybe buy a reasonably stair climber that's is not terribly expensive on Amazon. And Thunder says, that's not necessarily true. Who is better to tell you to respect power tools than a man who is missing some fingers, who's better to tell you to have fire safety than a man with third-degree burns. Well, yeah, so we're agreeing that you should have some experience in that before you can run off telling people, what to do, right? And Sunlight says,
yeah, but I might disagree, because you don't necessarily have to have experience. You don't have to have experience to say your tire is flat. You don't have to have that experience.
That's
well,
not
I think
true.
we ain't talking about the ridiculous. We're talking about just, in certain things. I think you should I mean, I don't know. I feel like you should have some experience and grounds to tell somebody something, I would think. And Sunlight says, now, according to his flawed logic, when Lizzo criticizes anyone about not working out, it should be crickets, right? Right? Yeah, right.
Yeah,
And
it should be.
Pinky T says, personally, I want the guy who has never been injured because apparently what he does works. Okay, I can see that argument. I can see that. And Steve says, I don't mean to hurt any of my Black sisters and brothers by my comment. No, we keeping it real over here, brother. Keeping it real. We got thick skin. And Marty says, Demetra, me and my cousin, Shay had body dysmorphia. My cousin Shay was a bulimic, and I used to starve myself to stay thin. Both of us did this into our 30s. Now I'm slowly working, retraining. Yeah, I mean, it does mess with you if you hear you're not good enough, especially from a child, right? Or as a child. And Thunder says, back in the old days when people had loose lips usually turn into fat lips. Okay. And Morgan says, I'm working on retraining myself to eating nothing but vegetables since where I'm at, I can't get out and do a lot of exercises like I would do to my schedule and new place, buy exercise equipment. Okay. And then Sunlight says, he doesn't limit that to women in his kingdom, right? You know that, Demetra, right? And Marty says, Demetra, you have a beautiful size body and it's not fat at all. He says, not fat at all. You got a very nice medium physique and it's beautiful. Unfortunately, our families destroy our confidence as kids and making fun of us. Mm-hmm. Yes, well, I appreciate that. But I'm one of those people, I feel like I always have room for improvement. Mm-hmm. I work out every day. I'm striving to be more fit because not even really for looks anymore, because when you get older, especially, as women, we lose bone density and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really just trying to stay alive longer at this point. And, but thank you for that. And Thunder says, but to get back on topic, these women are out of control. And what you see right now, community, the direct correlation between single motherhood and democratic control, we need to start the families again. Very excellent point. Absolutely. And that guy from Texas, how you doing? He says, peace, sister. And Sunlight says, you see how the natural sister gets dissed, i.e. Florida. I love Florida's look. Exactly. See? And she's if Florida isn't the epitome of a natural Black woman, who is? I mean, she was very chocolatey skin. She didn't wear a lot of makeup on the show. She had an afro. I mean, if she's not considered a beautiful natural sister, then I don't know. And Steve says Kamala Harris keep cutting Donovan's live off.
I don't know what's going on, but I mean, it's unbelievable right now. But then again, they are working on the power on the other street. So,
And Money says workout is good, but do it at a safe pace so you don't have a heart attack. I feel it when I go up and down the stairs, so I can't wait to the springtime to buy some more effective exercise equipment. Yeah, take your time going up and down the stairs.
Yeah. How many of us, we wait till the last minute, then we want to talk about, oh, I love you, Grandma, but we didn't love her enough to tell her that before she died, or a loved one or something like that. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. You don't have to be an expert or whatever to say that. You just, you could be educated and just say, hey, this is the body measurement thing and all this other stuff. I mean, I could be wrong, but I doubt it.
Sunlight wanted me to repeat a comment because she said it went over your head. Says now, according to his flawed logic, when Lizzo criticizes anyone about not working out, it should be crickets, right?
No, it shouldn't be crickets, because if she's criticizing somebody, obviously she sees something in that person to where they need to work out. She's not talking about her. The subject is not her. It's that person.
Okay, so let's see here. Did I skip over her comment? She says, no, Donovan, I don't cancel just because we disagree. And Charles says, I think you're outside pulling the power cords out in front of my house. Charles says, I know a lot of guys in the streets here in New York that would not listen to the person who is doing it right. But fortunately, those doing it wrong steer them in the right direction. Yeah, because that's just co-signing what they wanted to do all along, do something bad. So, and Moni, you say a lot of the younger women, 18 to 21, will get mad when you tell them what is not good to be dressed and seen. And many of the music producers are the cause of this mess. And you know what culture? Yeah, I mean, I can see where you're going with the music influencing the people to do certain things. But I always say no one should be more influential over your child than you, right? If you are raising, and I hate to say this, but weak children that are influenced by somebody they've never met, like a Megan Thee Stallion and whoever, Megan Thee Stallion is doing her thing, but people who are really doing crazy things, your kids are influenced by them. I mean, that's something you need to work on because your child shouldn't be more influenced by them than you, right? Pinky T says knowledge of self will cure all of this. That's why we need Black media. Yes, indeed. And speaking of which, if y'all want to donate to the PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo, we have that. Every little bit that you do donate, super chat, channel members, and all of that goes to helping the channel continue on. So we appreciate that. But you're absolutely right. You will get knowledge of self with Black media. Now, we ain't talking about just any Black media because a lot of that Black media out there is on some weird stuff. But channels that are bringing you knowledge, things you need to know to help you with obtaining knowledge of self.
Demetra, get up there and start that twerk. Go ahead and do it. Let's get the likes up. Let's go.
And Charles says, the problem is you guys are talking about people speaking rudely. You don't have to speak rude to give somebody some advice or pull their coattail. Absolutely. You got to do it in love and in a way they can hear it without them feeling torn down, right? Too often we speak to each other in harsh manners, and a lot of times we're speaking from our own insecurities. You're fat. You need to lose weight. That says, and I know a lot of times people are doing it because I really feel like you're fat and you need to lose weight because it's healthy. But a lot of times when people speak in that manner, it's because they don't feel good about themselves. And so here's my opportunity to try to tear this person down and bring them down to how I feel. And Moni says, I wear wigs sometimes, and sometimes I wear different head wraps. So you mean wigs? Is that what you're saying? And sometimes I wear different head wraps depending on how I'm feeling. But I had to wind up suing the company just last year for not allowing me to wear my hijab. Oh, okay. How did that turn out for you? In an intrinsic one, you said you don't have to experience, quote unquote, getting shot with a Glock to know what it feels like. I'd rather have someone tell me to never get shot at all. Well, yeah, I mean, but again, how would you be able to tell somebody what getting shot feels like unless you've been shot?
Well, it's the same way you would tell them about sex. Okay, I'll tell you. When my son was asking me about sex, I told him, I said, sex is like heaven. That's what it's like.
You know anybody who's been to heaven?
Yes, Jesus, sweet Jesus.
And Steve says I was talking about how long Florida hair was. Yes. Well, she had a little bitty, a tois is what they call it, a teeny weeny afro.
Yeah, and, but if you guys go back and Google it and look at pictures of Florida Evans or whatever her real name was, I forget. She was an attractive woman. To me, she was.
Estelle Roll?
Yeah, Esther Roll.
Esther Roll.
Yeah, she was and she came from a big family, and she was a very attractive woman, to me, at least.
Yes, beautiful Black woman.
And she was a member of a dance troupe in New York. How many of you guys know that?
We know now, brother. And Sunlight says exactly in Florida, and what she represents is not something I commonly see Black men embracing. Hey, Dewan, how you doing? Says, hello, people. What's up? What's up? What's up? And Randy, how you doing? Says, hello. Sorry, I'm late. No, you're right on time. And Dewan says, 2022, no more excuses for the Neanderthal. And Moni says, Dimitri, absolutely right. I was so tired of my uncle harassing me that I literally was so glad when he finally passed away in 1989. He harassed me and made fun of me constantly on the texture. of my hair. And again, you know, RIP to your uncle, but he was very slave minded. And unfortunately, we still see those things. We still hear people comparing people's hair and their skin and just all the slave stuff, right? Sunlight says, laugh out loud. I'm more creative than that, Donovan. I just put a hex on you. I learned a lot in New Orleans. Laugh out loud. And Moni said, my mother every now and then would say something to her brother, but then she would take part in it. Finally, I told her, if you had picked a better choice of man than my dad, my hair wouldn't be coarse. Oh my God. Ooh. And did shortly come up, pow, pow.
You know what? Sunlight said something that just now. I forgot she is from Louisiana, and I'm missing some draws. There's a hex where you take a man's draws and you bury it in the backyard, and he'll never leave you.
Sunlight, if you really want to get to him, take his Speedos.
Take my dog or cat. You can have anything you want from me.
If you want to help us all out, disappear the Speedos. Sunlight says, you listening, huh? You listening? An intrinsic one. You say Florida Evans had a teeny weeny afro. Yes, indeed. The morning says, Demetra, you know the old parent cliche, do as I say and not as I do. I agree it never works, but it's kind of hypocritical. There's nothing wrong with wanting your family, friends to be healthy, but never abuse. Yeah. And Age McDaniels says, I saw Esther Roll at the Banana Record store in Oakland in 1976. She was promoting her album. She is very dark-skinned in person and a vision of loveliness. Yes. Her skin always just reminded me of just like chocolate, so smooth and very, you know, dark brown. I just always loved that about her. And Steve says, they say Caesar Borgia is Jesus. Yes, that's who is allegedly depicted in the pictures that we all see of white Jesus. And Brother Samuel, how you doing? It says, greetings, D&D. I have been busy and not in tune, but have you guys spoke on the African origin of wearing wigs? We have not spoke on that. But yeah, I guess there are some tribes that wear certain type of wigs, but they ain't walking around with some of the wigs we seeing these sisters wearing. And we know a lot of these sisters ain't wearing them because it's rooted in Africanism. That's kind of like almost the same argument. Well, you know, they twerking in Africa too. It's not the same thing, though, right? And Sunlight says, just stop it. And Zebras, how you doing? Long time no see. He says, hey, I'm sorry I'm late. It's my wife's birthday. Well, happy birthday to your lovely wife. Donovan, did you say happy birthday to your sister-in-law?
Hell to the no. Not that I just haven't got around to it. Yeah, so I've been busy sleeping all day. No, I'm joking. So, happy birthday. God.
Says, so we've been running the streets and I was in a tow waiting on a sucker to try his game till I run up and see if I can get my ass kicked. Laugh out loud. Now we celebrating.
Yeah, my brother's down in Gulfport and there's a lot of Confederates down there. So he gets in a lot of confrontation.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Just put your Baptist finger up and just keep on strolling, brother. We want you to make it out alive. And Charles says, everyone is beautiful, but everyone is not aesthetically pleasing. Keep it 100. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And Samuel says she was also Zeta Phi Beta Esther Roll. So an educated sister.
Yes, she was. Yeah, absolutely.
And Randy says, in my opinion, with my teenage girls, it's those women, health, glamour, and hip hop magazines that has these young ladies going crazy. Yeah, and it's been like that forever, right? They have these standards of beauty, you know, that everybody should try to be, right? But we should try to love, not try, but love ourselves. And Yahweh, how you doing? It says Shalom, Lady K, and Kwai. You said some words that I just don't want to be disrespectful and jack them up, but how you doing? And and I'll put it up there so y'all can see that I ain't, you know, being lazy here, okay? And Marty said, Demetra, I don't have to worry about my uncle, I must say, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I was glad when he finally passed away. He has such a negative demeanor to me and my cousins. We were glad he passed down. What y'all saying? Ding dong, the witch is dead. The witch. I don't know why it was the first thing that came to my mind. Sorry about that. R.I.P. Uncle.
Yeah, but it's really sad because in a lot of our families we have people like that, and it's unfortunate.
And somebody says, "No, the hell you didn't, Donovan." And Steve says, "Seems like everybody black want a baby mixed with colonizers." Yeah, again, that's also what was taught to us. The lighter you are, the better you are. I mean, like I said, my mom, I remember her telling me stories of people saying that if you were lighter than darker than a paper bag, then you wasn't good enough, right? And even men or mothers telling their sons, don't marry a woman that's darker than the paper bag, and vice versa. And I was like, oh my God, that's some slave stuff.
Yeah, my great grandmother actually told my grandfather, because my grandmother is dark black, just like Deanna. She has Deanna's complexion, and told her he would be disowned, basically from the family. He was kind of ostracized from the family for marrying my grandmother.
And Olivia says it's buried in her backyard. Laugh out loud. And Rido vegan vegetarian vegetari. Yeah, I know I said that wrong. How you doing? It's $7 Jamaican dollars for Donovan. Oh, so you put yes, we do need to put Donovan back on the auction block. So we have $7. $7 for Donovan. Let's get him married off, y'all, by 2022. It's not too late.
Well, it shouldn't be $7. We got inflation going on, so it should be at least $9 with inflation.
But you keep opening your mouth, brother. We're going to be in a negative pretty soon. And Sammy said, Donovan, Dr. Yusuf Ben Joe Conan used to say heaven was between the legs of a black woman, just to aid your point.
Wasn't there a song by the Ohio Players? Demetra, do you remember the song?
Heaven must be like this. I'm gonna listen to that when I get off of here. Yes, indeed. They also said skin tight too. Skin tight. I'm gonna listen to some Ohio Players when I get off of here. And let's see here. And Charles says, you read my comment, but you missed the point. Guys who are doing the wrong thing steered the young man in the right direction. So even though they were doing wrong, they spoke up. Okay, got it. So yeah, in some cases, some dudes are doing wrong. Like say that drug dealers, they saw a young brother like, nah, go the other way. You don't want no part of this. Go get your education. No, Allen Iverson said that was true for him. A lot of the brothers that was in the life told him, nah, you gonna be something. So go and do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of sports athletes that were invested in by the gangsters and all that other stuff to make it. Yeah.
Got it. And Dewan says, I love Esther. She is the reason the father of Good Times got that role. Yeah, she did not play no games when it came to how things were supposed to go on the show, which is why they killed off a lot of people and she eventually left because she wasn't down with the cooning and buffooning of JJ, if you will. And Yahweh says, I, the light-skinned man, love light-skinned sisters. Okay. And Steve says, praise the Lord. And Moni says, we're glad that my uncle, passed away because of such high destructive negative impact he had on our lives that caused us to suffer from even today. And he's been gone 32 years as of August. Wow.
Wow. Yeah. I have two nieces that I constantly I'm on top of, and I'm not saying, they're grown women, but, I give them my honest opinion and they just take it for what it is. Cause again, I tell them, I'm telling them this because I care about you. I don't know about the people you're talking about, but I care about you.
And thank you for the compliment, Yahweh. I really appreciate that. And Olivia says, my mom's complexion is that of Viola Davis. Yes, another beautiful chocolate sister. And I'm bright skinned. One of my aunts tried to convince me once that my mom was not my mother. She is not living her best life these days. Yeah, that's awful. Just like, what's wrong with people, Mona says, so within our families, we program children, bringing them up with phobias that a lot of times society don't have to do. It is inside of our homes, which is a lifelong negative impact. Good point. And
especially with our young girls. Like I said, we've raised 2 generations of young girls, women now, that are on some different stuff because we didn't say anything in some situations.
Yes, indeed. And how it says shalom is Hebrew for peace and blessings unto you, Sister Kay. Okay, well, thank you for the education. I have to learn what that other stuff said though. And Steve says, did a house fall on your uncle? Right. Himari says, Demetra, you're less to tell the truth. The culture of people that you're not allowed to speak anything against is the same people that run the media and TV that wants us to look worse, never good. Yes, indeed. And Randy says, I'm waiting on some words of wisdom from Donovan. He keeps it real and funny. Yeah, Donovan, we waiting on your wisdom. And not that stuff you be reading out of Ike, the Ike Turner manual. And H. McDaniel says, my son was 3 years old in 1976. He wanted to see JJ's mama. How time flies. My son is 48 years old now. I can't believe my son will be 50 in less than 2 years, and I still look good. Hey, I know that's right.
Yep.
I know that's right.
Absolutely.
And Sunlight says, well, now we're getting somewhere. And Olivia says, an entire $7. Yeah, the ball is low. Ooh.
Olivia talk about do you take installments? No.
Damn. You know what? With the way the economy is going, yeah, we might think about some installments. And
we might even take some green stamps.
Morning says, Demetra, over the past couple of years, because my cousin Shay been hounding me to eat more raw vegetables and fruit, I can't get them. Then I'll do the frozen herbal teas is my thing in herbal supplements. Okay, that sounds like some good stuff. My name is Brian. How you doing? He says, I was taught that all sisters are beautiful, and I believe that until I see Major from I believe that until I seen that until I seen that mayor from Chicago.
You know, and the funny thing is she's married. She is married. That woman is married and she's getting the business. They're about to put her out of the Democratic Party.
You talk about Mayor Lightfoot, Lori. Mayor Lori Lightfoot. You crazy. Sunlight says, I clarify what I said. We are not taking advice. We're not talking advice. We're discussing criticism, two different things.
Right. And you could give constructive criticism that's positive. You definitely can. I give it to my nieces all the time, and I give it to anybody who wants it. You want it, I can give it to you.
We know, okay? Matter of fact, Donovan was giving one of his nieces advice, and I just happened to be going over there because we was going to do a show, and he was giving her advice. I mean, they got into it, and I was like, I put up the Baptist finger, and I went into the studio, and Donovan had the nerve to get mad at me. You should have helped me. You saw her saying this. You should have said something. I said, listen, what I was not finna do is get cussed out, okay? Your niece don't know me.
But she knows better than to curse people out in my presence.
Yeah, but I was like,
how we raised her.
I think you had that handled, brother. I was scared.
I did.
And Marty says, Demetra, I miss your wonderful raspberry lipstick. Please bring it back. It's pretty and it's fun. And I really like when you do it during winter in red, gold, silver, brown, spice, orange lipsticks. Ooh, I don't even own none of those colors except for red. I don't know. I think about it. And Brother Sammy says, the coarse hair, according to Suzar, is really spiral. The way he formed the universe and the Milky Way galaxy, the DNA molecule, etc., their root of which is spiritual and our antenna. Yep, I know my hair grows up. It doesn't grow down, which is why I kind of always wear my hair up. But absolutely. And Sunlight says, advice and criticism are two different things for the people in the back. And Yahweh says, Habayat Shal Da Wada means King David. Okay, we're learning something. And Everald, how you doing? He says, good night. Well, good night to you. Are you coming? Are you going? And Sunlight says, yes, Donovan, give us some wisdom. Tell us how 70% is the 21%. Inquiring minds want to know.
Oh, you want me to answer that right now?
No, hold that thought. And Merino Valley News First, he says, hi everyone, have a great week, and you do the same. And Sunlight says she's married to a woman, so Mayor Lightfoot. Olivia said, laugh my ass off. I might be able to get my hands on an old book of food stamps from back in the day. Make sure they're not expired, sister. Okay. We want to be able to spend your installments. And Yahweh says, Lori
Lightfoot. Lori Lightfoot.
I know you talk about is okay. I'm gonna just read that to myself. Steve says Mayor of Chicago is Uncle Earl. Okay.
Wait. What was the uncle in the Addams Family? Doesn't her eyes look like Uncle Fester?
Y'all, if y'all live in Chicago, y'all voted for her. Y'all voted for her. Robin says, Auntie Uncle Lightfoot, y'all need to stop. Thunder says, the only ways to get control back in the community is to have a vision, have a plan, and lay hands on any and everyone who tries to derail your family. And so what if someone isn't happy that you made it? I like the way you think. And Randy says, Demetra, what do you think of these young men that's wearing them long dreadlock wigs? So you talk about the men that are getting like the, I guess they're not necessarily lace fronts, but they're gluing them. I was like, what is that? Oh, there's an Amber Alert. That's what I just got. So they're gluing them on their heads. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I guess it's the same vein of, people telling women to embrace yourself. If you bald, brother, just go bald, But then again, that ain't for me to tell you. I don't have the right to tell you to go bald, But I think
wait. But that brings up a great question, ladies. If you ran across a man that had that wig or whatever on, would you continue to date him? He might be follically challenged, but go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I would always be thinking about him wearing a wig, if that makes any sense, while we're together. So I don't know if I wouldn't date him. His wig would always be on my mind instead of on his head. And Tawana says, Mayor Lightfoot is married to a white woman. Yes, she is. And Marty says, Demetra, I share with you my uncle made me feel very bad. Then as I became older and start really getting into my money, both me and my cousin, then all of a sudden, be nice to late. Yeah, I was saying Lori Dumbfoot. So
nice, too late.
Oh, too late. Got it. So tell us how you really feel. And Dewan says, Batty Juice. So like Beetlejuice.
Yeah, Beetlejuice.
Yeah, Steve says she looks like the white guy played the ghost on the train in the movie Ghost. I know you talk about. So okay, y'all saying she looked like Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton's character, Beetlejuice. I better not say that too many times because she might pop up in here. And Thunder says, it's a road trip and you must reach the destination. And so what if someone is angry because you stopped at Mickey D's and not Wendy's? F them. Fathers, in most parts, if they're doing their job, will be hated. Oh, Anastasia says, yes. And my ex got a tattoo type of fade done by the army. It looked fine. And Sunlight says, he was a good guy and attractive. Yes, I would. That's just like wearing a toupee. Okay, let me ask y'all this. Should he have to tell you he's wearing one? Like, should that be public knowledge to you that he's wearing a toupee, dreadlock pay? Should he have to say, hey, listen, baby, by the way, I just think you should know before you get too involved with me that this is detachable. Like I got a George Jefferson going on otherwise. Like, should he have to tell you that?
George Jefferson, hell, Friar Tuck.
And Olivia says, I don't have a problem with a man missing a few teeth, but I'm not interested in it. Don't be stupid. I'm not interested in a man wearing a wig. I would rather the baldness. Okay.
Right. Well, let me ask you this now. Olivia, missing a few teeth. Now, what if he's a Leon Spinks in the front? Would that matter? I mean, yeah, I can see the back. You know, you're losing the wisdom teeth or whatever. But what if he's Leon Spinks in the front? Would you still date the guy?
Steve says, say it one more time. And Tawana says, I would never date a man who wears a wig. I do not wear wigs. And H. McDaniel says, I went on a blind date once with a man who wore a curly natural wig. He had the nerve to think he was better than me. I started to pull his wig off.
Yeah. Wait, how many of you guys know the actor Alan Payne? He wears a wig.
I heard that.
Yeah. If you look at from him from the time he did New Jack City till now, same hairline, that's a wig. Yeah. He's completely bald at the top.
And Sunlight says, no, I don't think so. Just let me know when he was going to take it off. So you're saying he doesn't have to tell you up front that he's wearing a wig? And Steve says, how would you feel you making love to him and his hair fell off? Hold up, time out.
Or he gets pensive when you ladies try to run your fingers through his hair. He's like, oh, no, wait, hold up.
I paid a lot of money for this. And Carmen, how you doing? He says, I'd rather he be bald with all his teeth. And Yahweh says, as long as she has a brain with common sense, it's all good. And Thunder says, take back control of the neighborhood. Men starting being men again. Be unapologetic about it, and do not apologize for taking care of your family. Do not apologize for making enemies. You're not here to be loved. I love it, and you're absolutely right. Yes, Honeydew says Jamie Foxx is rocking a toupee. And Charles says, isn't the mayor of Chicago part of the LGBT community? Yes, she's married to a woman. And Samuel says, does the ear affect who should go bald? Do the ears affect who should go bald? Do tell. And Honeydew says Fox wears a lace front. And Brother Terry Muhammad, how you doing? He says some are not wigs. They just get dreads weaved in. Okay. Well, if it's attached to their own hair, I don't see a problem with that.
So I'm going to go out and get me a Predator look. You know, where it's just on the side. I'll get the dreads on the side and keep the top.
No.
Or is that Kimbo Slice? Kimbo Slice look?
And Tawana says Alan Payne's wig is obvious. So obvious. Thunder says, get a woman who's willing to pay to play her role and to keep any and everyone away who finds fault with you wanting what's correct for your family. I love it. You know what, though? It'd be nice if men and women who thought like that could hook up. I'm just saying, you know. Steve, you're clapping. And Charles says, hello, good night. That's Trinidadian. And, oh, got it. So, it's both ways. And Anastasia says, they said Jay-Z wears one too. And Steve says Jerry Rice had the Predator look.
He did toward the end of his career. You would take off that helmet. It was terrible. It was like, oh, come on, man. Come on.
And Thunder says, if you have a woman who's playing her role and they're women who try to break up your family dynamic, they are enemies and deal with them accordingly. Play jump up and get physical, meet force with force. So yeah, you know, and Thunder, I really like your point of view and the way you think, because that's the way it should be. We need, like I said, we need to get women and men who think like that together. Can you imagine how dangerous we would be if we got people together who really thought like that? Let's protect one another.
Girl, I need to get my own. My mama told me, you know, you can't rely on no man for nothing. You know, you must be crazy. I'm out here getting all these student loans and getting these titles so I can get me a high value man that he can take care of me.
I don't know about all of that, but we do. We need to get men and women that think like that together, who want to nation build and protect that nation. But unfortunately, we have a lot of people running around here, you know, perpetrating. You know, they say they want to do this and they want to do that, but they're not doing any of that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, we need to get like-minded men and women together so that we can be about the business of nation building. And then Yahweh says, short mamas are my barbecue. Okay, well, do tell. And Olivia says, that's a Coolio hairdo, Donovan. And Thunder says, the women who want to be good women are afraid to do so because of the bad woman. I guess I can kind of see where you're going with that, because the good woman who wants to play her role, as you would say, might get chastised by the bad women who you say, you ain't supposed to be doing this for no man, and you got to get your own. We don't need no man, and all this other stuff. And so a lot of times, sometimes I guess I should say, the good women bow down to that. But it's like, do you want a man or not? Because you're not gonna lay down with those women. At least I don't think you are. Lay down with those women who are telling you what you should not be doing. And I was talking to Donovan earlier, and I said we need to get in a habit as men and women to listening to each other. If a man is telling you he like A, B, C, and D, and you want to be his woman, well, go do A, B, C, and D. Don't tell a man, well, I don't want to do this and I want to do that. I'm going to give you a perfect example, and I'm trying not to be vulgar. Well, I have a friend who says she doesn't understand why men like certain sex acts, right? I'm just going to say that. You guys kind of know where I'm going with this. I don't know why they want that done to them, and I said, if that's not your thing, sister, get with you a man who don't want that. There are men out there who don't have to have that act done. I said, but what you're not going to do is get with a man that likes that done and then somehow convince him that you shouldn't be getting that done. That's nasty. That's disgusting. Because what's going to happen is he's going to end up getting with a woman who's going to do that for him. Then it's going to blow your whole head apart because you should have just taken inventory before you got with him. It says, he likes that. I don't like doing that. Therefore, I'm not going to entertain a relationship with him because I am fooling myself and thinking I'm going to change his mind. Listen, if a man like that done, that's a firm decision. You ain't going to talk no man out of wanting that done. So anyway, we need to start listening to each other, okay? Men, if you like a woman and she's saying, well, this, that, and the other to be my man, and if it's doable, I ain't talking about jumping through no hoops of fire. And sometimes if you want her that bad, you will. But see if you can meet her halfway at least if you want to be her man. But you can't just bum rush into a relationship what you ain't gonna do. Think about the things you can do. I don't know. And where did I leave off? And Thundy also said, a woman who knows she's a woman, she should not try to get physical with a man. If a woman tries to get physical with a man, she is confused. So help her get her mind right. Yeah. I don't understand that either, but a lot of times that comes from, especially a lot of the younger women watching their mama buck up with dudes, all up in their face and, trying to go toe to toe with a man. And so they teach that to their daughters, and then they go to school and get knocked out. And then they want to send all their cousins and their brothers and their daddies and stuff up there. But it's like, but she watched you fight dudes and you made her think that was okay. It's like, we as women, we are not we're not physically stronger than men, and you ain't gonna win, sister.
Yeah, and if you look at some of these IG influencers and models and stuff like that, and that have daughters, look what they're teaching the daughters to start thoughting just like the mom did, Tokyo Tony and whatever these people are, these things. You see it. There was a video where the girl was taking the daughter to Detroit for a party, and they had to change in the airport or something, and the daughter, and then, what they had to change in was very revealing, and the mother had the outfit and the daughter had the outfit, and it was very revealing, but that's what she's teaching her daughter, to be a thought.
Yeah, it's crazy. And somebody says the problem is some people don't know how to differentiate between the good and the bad. Good point. And Steve says, can CBS fix Gayle King's wig? Y'all know y'all need to stop.
They just gave her $10 million too. It's crazy.
And Thunder says the minister said, if you want to build a nation first, you must make men. Yes. And he also talks about, men need to get with a woman in order to help make them that, right? Stop getting with women who have no interest in helping you evolve. Like, we should be evolving together, but unfortunately, that's not what's popular. People sometimes see evolution as too much pressure, And you also say, and when the bad women say you're not supposed to do this for a man, the good women need to say, this is not just a man, this is my husband, and you do these things for a husband. Absolutely. And I 100% agree with you. I would never allow a woman to influence me out of my relationship, especially if she ain't got no man, or as you said, a husband. But like I said, I'm so grateful that I grew up watching great women, and I don't have a problem saying it, submit to men, you know. And I'm not just saying any man. My fathers, I have two of them. They were great providers, you know.
I'm never gonna submit to no damn man. I'll get my own. I don't need no man to do nothing for me.
Yeah,
My father wasn't in my life, so I don't need nothing from no man.
Yeah, you get you a beta male who ain't gonna, you know, push back or see a man worth his weight would never even get in a relationship with a woman like that unless he's a punk. And I hate to say it that way, but I mean that's just was that a little too strong? Only a punk would get with a woman who talks to him like that. A man worth his weight would never even entertain a woman who would talk to him in that manner. And the alpha male would his radars would already be up about her, because men and women who are sharp in their thinking, you listen to what people say, and right away you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go too far with this person, and you go the other direction.
Yep, I'm gonna hit it and I'm gonna quit it, and that's it.
Oh. And then, but those are ones where you hit it and then you can't quit it because you put a baby in it. So you might want to think twice about that.
Right. But I'm just saying that that's the attitude they have. Like, I can't wife her, but I can keep her as a side chick.
Yeah, okay. And Sunlight says, no, you just keep it moving. And Mona says, I've been wearing my natural hair for 10 years and I feel great about it because I don't have to put any more relaxers in my hair or wear a weave just to impress anybody. Never again. I love me just as I am. I know that's right. And Wilbur, how you doing? He says, exactly. Anastasia says, but we are looking at why she doesn't want to do. Most Black women are looked down on for that. And a lot of Black men don't do it either, but expect it. So we are on the same page. Yeah, but, you know, I was just really saying for her, even if we are as Black women looked down upon for not wanting to do that, don't get with you a man who want that done. It's not going to work out. Like, you can't get with a zebra and you're an antelope and say, I don't want you to be a zebra no more. Take them stripes off. You know what you're getting with. So it's like, why try to force that? I'm going to make him one day realize he don't want that done. I mean, he's going to always know what he's missing if he gets with you. I'm just saying. But I get where you're going. Jonelle says the true beauty and power of is being secure in yourself and natural appearance, maintaining yourself like a garden. All have a preference, so we need to learn to stay secure despite any rejection and continue to build upon self. The most important value is the value you put on yourself. There's not another you anywhere. Love yourself first and don't be changed by this warped society or what you may attract. Settle down to a good choice. That's one who love you for you and willing to help you grow. Absolutely. I mean, we got to evolve together, baby. If we're not evolving together, then we're both stagnant. If we're not evolving, we are both going to be stagnant and it's not going to go somewhere. I say this to stagnant people: get with you a stagnant person. Get with you a stick in the mud. Get with you somebody who loves the box and who doesn't want to come outside of the box. Don't get with you somebody who's a mover and a shaker and who's evolving. Don't do that. I'm just giving you just the best advice I can give you. And Brother Terry says, good teaching, Demetra. Well, thank you. And Sunlight says, if there was no demand for thoughts, they would disappear. But that's just my 2 cents. So
you're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. And that's what we're trying to change the narrative. And I know people, I'm not a Kevin Samuels follower, but he's more trying to keep the families together and keep getting Black people married and keeping together. But if you guys notice in some of these, if you follow YouTube, the narrative is starting to change against these thoughts. I mean, you're 30 years old and you're still twerking. Come on now. People are like, stop it. You know, let's do something else. You know, so the narrative is changing.
Yeah, because there's a lot of fitness pages. So I thought there were fitness pages on Instagram that I follow. And I'm like, this ain't got nothing to do with no fitness. It's just the worst. So I just, unfollow those channels and I don't want to see those. But yeah, so you're right. It needs to be shunned, Sunlight. You're absolutely right. Charles says, Alexander O'Neill, your hair was long, but now it's short, but I don't see no hair on the floor.
You're a fake, baby.
Thunder says, but the thing is, in the Black community, the word man, especially a straight man, is a bad word. Who's going to protect our community if the women are putting all the boys in dresses? Where are the men? I agree with you 100%.
True, the men should be there, but that doesn't absolve a woman of making the son the best that she can do to be a productive member of society. That's all I'm saying with that.
And Sunlight says some people act like people can't evolve. They make one mistake and they're held to it forever. Yeah, we need to. I believe in redemption. I believe people make mistakes, and I believe people should be redeemed, depending on what that mistake is, though. But yeah, I mean, people make mistakes, especially when you're younger, right? And Tana, how you doing? He says I'm late, but I'm watching 60 Days in on the side of this, and those inmates are wearing wigs.
Yeah, is that the one? Yeah, is that the one on? It's on Court TV, but the jail they use is the Fulton County Jail, and I saw that too, where they're wearing wigs in there.
Oh God! Well, hell, I stand corrected. I guess you can wear a wig in prison. And Martin said the one thing I learned, Demetra, a lot of these lawyers will be happy to do a quick settlement as opposed to going to trial when it comes to discrimination against women that practice Islam. That's BS. And Gilvetta, how you doing? He says, good evening, everyone. And Thunder says, a man wouldn't need a thought if the women took Betty Wright advice, be a cook in the kitchen and a lady in the streets, and you know what? In the sheets. But yeah, she was, sit yourself down, brother. She was also talking about Mr.
Man's a
Charlie.
genius.
Mr. Charlie is just the man. Mr. Charlie was out there getting his little Peter around. Okay, so let's tell the whole story.
Doo-doo. It was the 3rd of September.
Right. And Yahweh says, in the kingdom, we Israelites are Chaya. I know I said that wrong. And some other word that I can't pronounce will be right upstairs in the noggin. And Mona says, so now I know moving forward, if you get hired in a job, it tells you have to show why you practice Islam and that you have to have a minister to write that this is your practice, that you can sue.
Yeah, I think that's if you go to a private job, because federally you can't do that. I mean, you know, in a public job, you really can't do that.
And Samuel, you say the Keep It Real show from the male and female side. Yes, indeed. Randy says, if y'all get a chance to listen to our youth on this Clubhouse app, our youth is so far gone. The mentality that they share is so wicked. I bet you can listen. You can't listen for 15 minutes. Yeah. I just know me personally, I try to withdraw from social media as much as I can because I'm really, working on myself, trying to cleanse myself of old behaviors and thought processes. And so I can only imagine the stuff that they talk about, because you guys know I cover news stories for the African Diaspora News Channel. And if you haven't subscribed already, go over there and subscribe. So I have to cover stories that are disturbing sometimes. And so that's bad enough, but I can only imagine they just probably off the chain. And this says Facebook user. I don't know who that is, but he says, hi friend, I'm late, but I'm listening.
I think that's Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, you think so? Well, hi, how you doing? And but hello anyway. And Jonelle says a woman should know how to defend herself, but a woman shouldn't be the aggressor or a man, no matter how Steve Harvey want a woman to think. And be a woman true, your natural self. No woman should strive for manhood, and truly no man should strive for womanhood. The society promotes us being an opposite of self in disguise, acting when true power is rooted in being ourselves. Absolutely. We should learn how to defend ourselves, but I know I'm not going to try to go up and have no one-on-one fisticuffs with no man. I'm not going to do that. No woman should. And no man should be trying to put his hands on woman, because I know some people are going to say that.
What the problem is.
All right, Ike. And Sunlight says, no pain, no pain. Right, yeah.
No pain, no gain.
Yeah, right. So basically she's saying, well, I know it was painful that Mr. Charlie out there cheating on you, but without the pain, you wouldn't gain this wisdom of a relationship. Shit. And Rayshawn, how you doing? He says, hello, Queen Demetra, Brother Don, and Room Black First. Yes, indeed. And Thunder says, Marvin Seas wrote a song called Candy Liquor. I'm willing to give it if you are. All right. And Stevie says, we as Black men need to get back to loving our Black queens, and my Black queens need to get to stop treating her Black kings the way these colonizers taught them how to disrespect Black kings. Yes, I agree. That, like I said, y'all know I love Black men. Okay, I will love Black men till they take me on out of here. So we should not be disrespecting Black men. We shouldn't be disrespecting each other. I'll say that. But You know, we should always try to speak highly of each other, especially as my mom would say, in mixed company, right? Um, and Facebook user says, get me up to speed real quick. Kay, hurry, laugh out loud, be quiet, recovering Democrat. I don't know who that is at all. So, and Vita, how you doing? He says, hi there from Denver. Hello, hello. And Moni says,
Yeah,
Demetra.
wait. I would keep trying to get her to speak, and that way we can get her on the racketeering charges. So just keep going. Everything's. Oh, are we on?
What?
That's the Facebook user.
Right. Demetrius Moni says, Demetrius, some of the fake darker women have been Pearl Bailey, who was far better looking, in my opinion, than Esther Roll. But I did like Esther Roll. It's just how we've been taught on beauty by the oppressors. Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
and she met few.
Oh, Thunder says we need to get back to the old ways, start listening to those old songs they taught us about life. Like Johnny Taylor said, it's cheaper to keep her. And will you know, this is the divorce rate will drop. Well, he was right. You know, work it out. And Yahweh says, do you and lay back peeping you only. If boom boom comes, you both talk it to know. And Randy says, and by the way, what is this drill music? Do you know?
Yeah, if it's the drill music that I've been hearing these kids listen at, well, they don't really listen to drill music out here in California. But what I've been seeing, it's almost like a satanic chanting or something like that that they're doing. Is that what you're talking about?
Out of the loop. And Thunder says we're both of you were going in the same direction with the same goal and building together. The last thing you want to do is break up and lose all that time. Yeah, you right about that. And Yahweh says twerking is foul. Yes, and it just needs to die. One says, for example, when I look at the roaring 1920s and the 30s, they all had lighter to light brown women, from Lena Horne to Dorothy Danders to Rosa Parks and Etta James. Ruth Brown as the standard or idea of beauty. Yes, indeed.
Well, see, and you're right about that, Moni. But you know, that's media and a way that they do to make it acceptable. But in our communities, we had darker, people that we looked up to that were everyday people. See, and I don't know, maybe I wasn't raised to look at these athletes and people as leaders. I wasn't raised to do that. If you're an entertainer to me, you're an entertainer. If you're an athlete, you're an athlete. But everyday people that were lawyers and doctors and stuff, those are the people that were who they were, and they weren't these so-called glamorous beauty. They came in all colors and sizes and all kinds of stuff. So I think it's just more what you're exposed to and how you're exposed to it.
Olivia says A&E Donovan and Facebook.
Okay, yeah. I think it's also on Court TV too. They have a episode of Court TV.
And you say you're Natasha Romanov Bay. Okay, I don't know why it's coming up as Facebook user. But anyway, welcome. And Moni says, Donovan, don't worry about it. If somebody wants to put a hex on you because my family origins are out of Haiti and San Martinique, we don't play with those kinds of things. When we do it, it's done. Correct? Oh, my God. And Yahweh says, there are not too many men left jailed, sodomites dead. Wow. And Ella PRS, how you doing? You say, all praises to the Most High. Yes, indeed. And Charles says, too many people say this is me instead of wanting to be better. Yeah, and it's funny because I was thinking that earlier. A lot of people say, this is me. This is how I am. And it's like, well, man, that ain't always a good thing. People say, this is how I am. Some people, we all need to change at some point in time, but some people really need to change. Like, you should not be, bragging about this is me. Because that version of you is horrible, and it's like you're going to have to take it or leave it. And you wonder why a lot of people don't want to come around you because they've decided to leave it. So I agree. That's not always good to say. Yahweh says, the only true men are us called Hebrew Israelites, Malaks only. Okay. And Gavetta says, I'm so late. We'll have to listen to the replay. Yeah, we're going to get out of here as soon as I get to the bottom of these. Tracy, it says Facebook user. It doesn't say your name. Am I lying, Donovan? Watch this.
Yeah, it says Facebook user. Yeah.
See, it says Facebook user. It doesn't say your name. But anyway, Tracy is my girl from way back in the day. How you doing, Queen? And Thunder says, she said, Mr. Charlie is just a man. He's doing the best he can. She said, at least Mr. Charlie's trying, as he was trying to get them to stick it out together. You see how quickly you turned into an infidelity. Okay, was he not out there cheating? Didn't it come from? Okay, it was a song before that. It was after it was no pain, no gain, and then it was after the pain. After the pain. I believe Mr. Charlie, because it says Mr. Charlie is just the man. So I don't know. Maybe I have to listen to it again. Maybe they weren't talking about infidelity, but for all these years, I just thought they were talking about infidelity. But whatever else would they be? Whatever else would be so painful?
Who's making love to your old lady? They had some serious blues songs back then. They weren't messing around.
And Tracy says, "Is that what it says, D? Facebook user?" Yeah, that's what it says. I kid you not. I don't know why it says that. And Armani says, "So Donovan, I'm sipping on some cherry vodka with some cherry cranberry juice, lots of ice, and I'm thinking of ways to get you here in Michigan. Get ready for a beautiful change of coldness."
Well, you know what, Moni? In my flight simulator, I actually flew from New York into the old Court Sawyer Air Force Base. I think that's near Flint or somewhere near there. So that's simulator, though.
The flight simulator, brother. Yeah. Okay. And Thunder says, "We should know our God-given roles. Men are men and women are women." And Martin says, "Pope Francis and gay lover was Caesar Borgia. When you look at Stephen Darby Ministries, he gets more in detail about it, and rest in peace. But we've been so brainwashed. That's the first image we see." Yes, indeed. And Pastor Thaddeus Matthews talks about it a lot. And Tracy, so Tracy says, this is Tracy. Why is it saying Facebook user? I don't know. That's the first time I've seen that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I do believe they're doing a lot of stuff and putting bytes and trackers into a lot of computers.
Yes, the first time I've seen it. And ARE Radio, how you doing? It says, "One love Black first." And Olivia says, "I love our Black men as well. I don't want to have to explain the Black struggles to some other race." Come on. You know what I'm saying? And Sunlight says, "Agree. Too many say this or ain't nothing wrong with me instead of wanting to be better." Yeah, just own it. You know, we all got some work to do on ourselves. And Money says, "When I close my eyes, I have to get out of the image of white Jesus. But then after the same time, it's paganistic. Jesus' birthday isn't on his of this 25th of December, but I like the colors, but I will not put up a tree." Okay, well, it's progress. Sunlight says she's talking about colorism. What are you talking about, Donovan?
My grandmother has colorism. She's a dark sister.
And Randy says, "Gladys Knight, Temptations, Johnny Guitar, Watson, Blue Magic, Mighty Clouds of Joy." And Martin says, the gentleman was correct. Not everybody is aesthetically pleasing, but those are the ones that are quick to judge and make fun of those of us that are beautiful outside and inside. Ugly people are bad baggage. Oh my God. And Tracy says, "Nah, Negroes, they tripping." And Sunlight says, "Good point on this is me." Comment, Demetra. What do you think about that, Donovan? Why would I say people say this is me, take it or leave it?
I agree with it. I agree.
Mona says, "Demetra, to tell the truth, you know when a man is very good looking, he's confident, he doesn't have time to judge, but an ugly man feels the need to tell a woman what she should not wear in her clothes and makeup." Okay. And Brother Samuel says, "Demetra, I have a book I'm reading that I think you would like, that I'm reading now by Brother Minister Willie Muhammad of New Orleans, Louisiana. It is titled Journey to Get the Love You Desire Begins With You." Okay, I'm gonna have, let me hold on.
No, that ain't the book. I have to disagree. You need to go with the chick on Divorce Court. She has a book out called Sis, You Ain't Gotta Settle.
All right, I like to read, so I'll read them both. So I just took a screenshot of that because I want to order it. I love good books. And it says Begins With You. It's a journal-based reading based on what you said earlier through an analogy of self and our patterns. Yeah, I'm with it. I'm going to order it because, yeah, we do need to do a lot of self-examination. And when you do, you're like, wow, oh, I'm a lot more messed up than I thought I was. And Stevie says, cheating in the next room, making plans. Yes.
My favorite, Disco Lady.
Next room.
Yep, Disco Lady. Girl, you so fine. You're right on time. Girl, you ought to be on TV on Soul Train.
Sunlight says, "Oh, sheep," and Yahweh says, "All praises to Yahweh the Father, Yahweh She the Son, and Rachad Kadash the Holy Spirit." And Gilvetta says, "It's called self-reflection that we all have to do in order to self-improvement ourselves." Yes, every day I wake up improving myself. I have a regimen that I make sure that I do every day so that I am, in my right mind, and I stay that way. And Yahweh says, Isaiah 4:1. And Charles says, all the thoughts are good, but until our communities impose standards on ourselves, none of this will happen. Yeah, we need to start imposing standards on ourselves, and that's getting ourselves in the right mind.
Ain't no man gonna tell me how I need to act in something in public. That ain't gonna happen. Men ain't doing nothing, no way. They don't want to work. They don't want to do this. They don't want to, I mean, but I'm with you though. I'm with you. But I'm just saying that's the pushback we're gonna get.
I hope not. And Randy says, will you do a show of the cooking you do for the holidays? Well, I personally don't celebrate the holidays, but we can do a show on food. I like to cook. I am one of those sisters that can cook. And I want to put that out there. I don't have no problem cooking for my man, baby. What you want? What you want tonight? I'll make it happen. Okay. I ain't one of those that you better get it yourself. The microwave works.
Yeah. See, and that's a big difference with Demetra and a lot of women that were born into the Nation of Islam or raised in the Nation of Islam. They're taught to do things to help their families and stuff. And part of that was learning to cook and playing her role as a woman in the family. I mean, that's why when people act like you don't know how to cook, I'm like, she was raised in the nation. So of course.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I could cook. It is my pleasure to cook for my man. I mean, it just is. I'm not a grumpy person like, let me just make this Negro bologna sandwich tonight. Nah, I'll be cooking. So I just don't put that out there. Anyway, and H. McDaniel says also, you can be honest and sincere and caring, and one man's woman, they will cheat. I guess it's just too good to be true. I'm just over these men, and let's be clear, I am not gay. Well, sister, I hear you, but there's some good men still out there. They are. I have to believe that. And I'm going to believe that for you as well. And Gilvetta says it's called self-reflection on yourself in order to do self-improvement to be better. Yeah, it starts with yourself. You can't self-improve by pointing the finger at everybody else. Well, if you would just do things a certain way, then I would be a better person. That's not how that works. And Olivia says, what? Donovan agrees. And Amoni says, Demetra, I love reading wonderful books and drinking great wine, especially during the winter and spring. But here lately, I haven't had the enthusiasm anymore. And I gotta pray about that ASAP. Yes, indeed. Prayer works. Mona says, I suffer from chronic post-traumatic syndrome, both me and my cousin, and we went through something coming out of that. It's mind-boggling. It takes years. Joel Osteen books help get me out of it a lot. And that's one thing I listen to lately a lot is Joel Osteen. I know a lot of people take exception to some of the things that has gone on in his church, but his messages are awesome. I listen to, I think I got that from you guys on here, R.C. Blakes. I listen to him every day. I listen to Joel Osteen every day. I listen to a whole lot of people just to really help me out.
I just want to say this. You guys are aware Joel Osteen is not an ordained minister. Joel Osteen doesn't have any training. So earlier, like we were saying, you don't have to have a certain training to have an opinion or positive criticism to help other people in their journey.
Well, his father was a pastor. So
yeah, but what I'm saying is he's not ordained in anything, though. It doesn't matter if his father's a pastor. There's a lot of deacons that have kids that are having sons that have kids every place and not married.
Well, ministry is just really wisdom. Yeah, you should know the Bible, but it's ministry. It's ministry is helping people by, using wisdom. And Sunlight says, do you put the same energy and self-reflection as you do advising others? Donovan, serious question.
Serious question? No, because I'm damn near perfect.
Oh. And Brother Terry says,
no, in all seriousness, no. Well, the thing is, I've messed up some things like that, and I've reflected on that. I've told Demetra some of the few mistakes I've made, but unfortunately, again, My experience as a black man is totally different than the majority of black men in the United States because I wasn't raised here. So I don't make the same mistakes or have the same thoughts as the average black person that is here in the United States.
Brother Terry says self-improvement, the basis of community development. Yes, indeed. And another good book, I don't have it here, is The Community of Self by Dr. Naeem Akbar. It's a very good book. I've read it several times, and I thumb through it every once in a while when I'm really trying to understand some things. But it is really about self-development, the community of self. And Thunder says, you skipped my last one. Oh, I'm sorry, about one who's making love to your old lady while you're out making love. It's about staying home to make sure your house is in order. Oh, absolutely. It's an admonishment to men. While you out there creeping, you better wonder who creeping with your woman. So like you said, stay home and, and y'all be with each other instead of out there trying to do the most. It's really just, I don't know.
Yeah, I would always tell guys in the military when we're overseas and they're going to the red light districts and got their whole nother families and stuff like that. What do you think she's doing back home? It would blow their minds when they actually had to think about what I was saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how it says the Mzungu is being exposed, proceeding with no shame by Pinky. And Charles says, Facebook user, she's on a witness protection and don't know it yet, huh? And Marty says, Demetra, please do a show or two on you doing some beautiful cooking. I would love to see you and Donovan do something. If you don't celebrate Christmas, that's fine. Let's do something on Kwanzaa next year. Okay, well, we can talk about food here because I like to eat. So I love to talk about food. And Brother Sammy says, girl, you sound like an awesome and dynamic MGT, just not registered. Yeah, well, y'all know I was born in the Nation of Islam and my mom was an MGT, so I, we still utilize those things. And, my dad is FOI till he died, right? And so y'all know he know the books, all the books. He's got a wisdom book that, he gave me once. And he says, I want it back. I miss it. So I gave it back to him. And when I go back, he's going to give me his briefcase, full of information and literature. He says, I want you to have it. So, I know a lot about the principles and stuff. And I even made some bean soup a couple of weeks ago. I put it up on my YouTube. And Mona says, I would love to see you prepare some beautiful dishes. It's nice to see a lady that knows how to cook healthy meals for Valentine's Day. Your birthday is March, so we'll be looking forward to it. It's actually April. But yeah, I love to cook. It just don't bother me. And I love a man who likes to eat food. That is, I want to put that out there. And Sunlight says, case in point. Sunlight says, oh my God, that's totally off topic. And Morning says, Donovan, I practice. I think he meant I practice Islam and I know how to cook while being raised the Christian. I embrace more than one type of faith. I still love to prepare meals. Healthy is the key. Yes, indeed. And Randy says, Donovan, have you ever heard of Dr. Henry Clark? Yes, he has. Sunlight says, now that's hypocrisy. And Moni says, Demetra, never off subject. When you want to embrace that, how to really throw down. And I can tell in some short videos, you do that. You can prepare some great things. I love it. Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, to me, cooking is easy. My daughter says, you should go on Iron Chef or something because I just throw stuff together and make it taste okay. And Gilberto says, it's Donovan. I had no idea that Joel was not ordained. Wow, you learn something new every day. Yeah, I was listening to him, as a matter of fact, and he said that he's never gone to theology
school or anything like that. He's not a bishop. He's not into the titles.
But he sure does have a powerful message every day. So, and then and of course, y'all know I listen to the minister all the time. And Randy said a lot of guys deserve those Dear John letters.
Well, since we're talking about Dear John letters, here's something that you guys do not know. Demetra's mother did not support the troops, and she gave a Dear John letter and married Demetra's father in the aftermath during the Vietnam War.
Yeah, my dad was like, listen, I don't know about that other guy, but you're supposed to be my wife. And she was like, yeah, I guess you're right. And the rest is history. And Amanda says, what's your favorite dish, Demetra, that you like to cook? I'd love to see you make a sweet potato cream cheese cake and apple cobbler. Would be wonderful, especially something in Valentine's Day. My favorite dish to make, oh gosh, something easy.
Well, what about those pork chop ribs your brother made? Lamb ribs.
I doubt it. Okay. Olivia says my birthday is April 2, April 11th. I am April 13th. And Thunder says black men and women both suffer from trauma. The only difference is black men must quote unquote conduct himself and not make excuses, because if he does, he's labeled as a sorry, worthless man. Black women get a pass, and it's victim blaming. So
well, yeah, well, Thunder, you're absolutely right. In our society, black men, especially black men, get no quarter. We can't get no excuses. We can't say, oh, I got the baby, or I did this, or oh, I didn't want to, my birth control failed. It's all on us, and there's no excuses. We're not even allowed any excuses. You're right.
So, Brother Sammy, I'm gonna put this up, but if before you get in there, send me a link or call me, text me or something, because you guys, I don't always see my messages on Facebook because I'm just not on there a lot, or Instagram. So if you can text me, call me, remind me, I would love to be a part of that. And Yahweh says 2022 is going to be ruthless. Behold, Israelite brothers and sisters. Yes, indeed. Mona says another good minister, Demetra, is Stephen Darby. Though he passed away in 2017, his message is still relevant. You can go on his YouTube channel, and it's so many that I think you would enjoy. Let me know. I will check him out. Thank you for that. Yahweh says Israelites are so-called Blacks, Native American, Native Indians, and Latinos. And Charles says, Demetra, you and I are in the same boat. I do not celebrate these pagan holidays. Yeah, I just don't do it. One says, Donovan, that is incorrect, because Joel Osteen's father ordained him long before the dad passed away in the 90s. So he got his ordination from his dad, but he's good nevertheless, especially depression. And
but here's the thing, Moni, when we're talking real world stuff, Joel Osteen cannot go into the military as a chaplain because he does not have an official ordainment from a theology school. That's what we're kind of talking about.
Yeah, because he said he hasn't been to school. And Charles says it's your pleasure to cook for your man. Oh my goodness, I better go to Jared. Yes, it is. I love to cook for my man. I'm just putting it out there. Olivia says, yes, I wanted to go on Iron Chef myself years ago. I grew up cooking and also took culinary arts and graduated from JWU, Johnson and Wales University. Okay.
How the hell are you single if you have that background? How is this woman single?
And Moni and Samuel, so thank you. Yes, please remind me. And Moni says, I tell you, when I felt like dying day in, day out, and my cousin was feeling the same way, and we were two different states at the same time, couldn't talk. Joel Osteen books pulled me out. Yes, I believe it. And Joel says, Black women get what is called a special victims card. And when she acts out, she's not responsible. It's someone else's fault, and you can't hold her responsible. But if a Black man, oh Lord, he just committed a war crime.
Yeah, or just a man, period. Because like I said, okay, let's say a woman has a baby and she doesn't want the baby anymore. She could drop it off at the fire department, or there's certain areas where women can just give up the baby, no questions asked. But let a man walk away. He's responsible for 15, 20, 18 years of child support, regardless if the child, he doesn't even know he had a child. He's still responsible for that. And that's what we're going with that. The laws need to change. Yeah,
I get it. And Marty says, I'm tired of negative people that hate on women like Gino Jennings, that make you feel bad for just being born a woman and wanting a woman to look plain, unkept, ordinary, raggedy, and plain Jane. Oh, and Randy says, I'll show you guys how to make Rand noodles, 2 pounds of hamburger, and 1 box of hamburger helper. Yum, yum. Okay, I haven't made hamburger helper. I don't think I've ever made hamburger helper.
I like stuff from scratch. The mama hamburger helper, with the big green onion in there and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, I cook from scratch. I do. I don't know. It's just something about building, but there's nothing wrong with that every once in a while. But I like to cook from scratch, the gravy and everything, right? So anyway, I just put that out there. And Olivia, you say, I just don't settle for anything, Donovan. That's why I know my worth and I don't have time for bull. So I'm single until the best one shows up.
Okay, wait a minute. Before the show goes off, I'm saying this to Olivia. You remember that part in Car Wash where he comes at the end to get the waitress, and he said, "You around here waiting for some prince to walk through the door? I'm your prince, and if you don't start treating me right, I'm not gonna be coming around here no more." So that's what I'm telling you.
And Yahweh says, I cook always. She cooks it. It is all good. Okay, well, nothing wrong with both people cooking. I just like to cook. It doesn't bother me. And Thunder says Roland has Coco 19. Yes, I saw that, and yes, Corey has it as well. So I was like, oof, what's really going on, right? But you know what though? That Coco, the new variant, is running rampant. And so myself, I'm going to be staying indoors more. It's going to pain me not to be able to go to the gym, but this thing is off the hook. And they're saying that the jab is not.
Go ahead.
They said the jab is not effective against that variant. It's not variant.
Yeah. But I told you, go on Amazon and buy you a workbench so that you can do your work right there at the house.
Yeah, I need to do that.
And they've got the benches you can just put on the back of your door for space savings and stuff. You can fold it up and put it back there. So just to go do that. I'm
gonna have to, because that's the gym is it's gonna have to be out. And you said I thought that they both got jabbed twice. Brother Salmon says car washes on Star Wars now. Stars. Well, I keep saying Star Wars. Stars now.
Right, Olivia. I'm your prince, and if you don't start treating me right, I might not come around here no more.
You know, one of my favorite movies is it just slipped my mind.
Which way is up? Which way is up?
Mo Better Blues. And I had it, but I lost the DVD in the fire.
Well, I can give you a copy. I could give you a copy of it.
But I found it on Tubi. Is that how you say it? Tubi television?
Yeah, Tubi television.
It's on there to the end of the month. And so I said I'm going to watch it every night until it goes off. So I started watching it last night. It is one of my favorite movies.
I can send you a copy. I have a copy I got off Stars or whatever when I was printing off my DVR. I can send you a copy.
I love Mo Better Blues. I love that movie. And I'm going to watch it when I get off of here. But yeah, I might check out Car Wash. I like that movie. And yes, y'all. So anyway, I don't see any more comments. We are going to get out of here. I will not be here next Sunday because I have a prior engagement. It was my daughter's birthday, I should say.
Tell the truth. Y'all going to turn up and have a hot girl winter.
No. But I will make it up to you guys one day next week. Maybe that Monday. Donovan, what's good for you?
I'm good. It's wintertime. I'm not doing anything right now.
Okay. So we'll do a makeup show, but I won't be here Sunday. Apologize for that in advance. And Sunlight says, yes, Mo Better Blues is a classic. Yeah, I'm going to watch it tonight again. And Brother Sammy says, ivermectin is the stuff and has reduced the cases in Bangladesh, Japan, and other countries. Okay. And Steve says, enjoy the show, Demetra Kaye and Donovan Sadiq. Well, we enjoyed you all being here. So we're going to get out of here. Yes, and I will tell her you all said happy birthday. And we're going to get out of here. But we thank and love you guys so much for being here with us on the Demetra Kaye Show. Again, we do have Cash App, PayPal, Venmo if you want to donate or become a member or join the Super Chat. We love and appreciate that as well. Thank you, Marcus Guyton, for everything that you do behind the scenes. And of course, thank you to the Recovering Democrat for sitting here with us. Yes, I will tell her. Y'all said happy birthday. Yeah, hit the like button while you're here because I guess it helps the algorithm or something like that. And Olivia says, Prince Donovan, I have something for you to do. Okay. And Thunder says, men be men and reign control of the community. I love it. Yes, Brother Samuel, God night to you as well. And Jonelle, you say happy anniversary to the young queen and you, Queen, peace all. Yes, indeed. So we will see you guys not next week, but the week after. I'll do a makeup show. So you guys be good and stay safe. Peace.